repercussions? No, that's not how it works. Just because you think somebody is a Nazi doesn't give you the ability to punch them in the face.
Oh, hello. What's
This
the
is
game,
a
Ryuji?
low-IQ, tough guy Redditor viewpoint that if people express this in real life, they would be in jail. Same guy saying punch a Nazi, then complaining about due process. You know what? That's a great fucking point. The same people that are complaining about due process are saying to punch Nazis. That's a great fucking point. I'll see if there's any more of these here too.
But DHS also released ICE arrest numbers. Those numbers are surpassing the Biden administration for what their arrests were.
That's a cool fucking car, man. I want one of those. Yeah, one of these like off-roaders. This is badass.
Oh, okay.
All of 2024.
What's it called?
However, when it comes to those removals and deportations, that's different than an arrest. So we pressed the secretary on that. Here's what she had to say regarding deportation efforts.
You look at the numbers, and we're going through them, but the arrest numbers, we saw that Joe Biden was even manipulating those. Even people that they were encountering and releasing into the United States, they were calling as arrests. So
they capture them and then they let them go? Why would they do that? And then they say they're...
President Trump has been extremely aggressive in making sure that we're arresting dangerous individuals, getting them out of the country.
But DHS
I can get you a brand new one for 22K. No, maybe if it was like 5K or 7K. that's way too fucking much. But yeah. Let's see.
This one is RPG Maker type games, but then
people always
with their own
like
visual
comments
stuff
like that. But yeah, really not a big surprise. But yeah, basically Trump had this app. So like the Biden administration had an app. I totally
don't mean porn games.
And Trump canceled the app on the first day, and then on the second day, or I guess not second day, but like now,
that's not where I know that style from at all.
Benefits into being a self-deportation app.
Combo trials. What exactly?
First day in office, he ended that app. He ended that opportunity for migrants seeking asylum. But now they've repurposed that app as CBP Home. So we asked Secretary Noem, is that app being utilized? Does she think it's working?
Let's just say I know the visual novel style mostly from porn games. Let's be honest.
Building momentum all the time, and we'll continue to educate the public about it. But
that's how it goes.
The last I checked a few days ago, it was getting it's hundreds and hundreds. I'm not sure if we're over thousands and thousands now, but every day as people recognize that there are criminal penalties for overstaying, especially after you have final removal orders. There's also financial penalties.
Yeah, see, they go on a roach out real quick as soon as they realize they're going to get got. That's the thing. It's people like this. As soon as they start seeing other people get deported, then they start leaving.
Every day that you're here for a final removal order, it could be $700 a day penalty. So if someone has been here for years, past the date of their final removal order, it could be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's a consequence they could face if they don't self-deport.
Oh, yep, there you go. And the incentive is that they'll face charges and a chance to reapply legally. Yeah, I guess so. Bro, not even you as an American citizen has to pay penalties? Well, of course not, because you're a citizen, so why would you pay penalties? Yeah, but anyway, so this has been what's happening, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And it does seem like we've got bro.
At the low levels, that's certainly true, dude.
Man. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Something about the in-depth tour of the Salvador prisons, how they work. No, I already watched the video on that yesterday, actually. It's so good. Yeah, it's fucking funny. This is what I voted for. Well, I'll tell you guys, how many of you guys that voted for Trump, you're getting even better than what you would hope for. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yep, 100%. He surpassed all my expectations. I thought he was just gonna take over and do fucking nothing. I did, but apparently he just doesn't give a fuck.
Do you have a red line for the direct line that will cross if We'll say that we're not going to put up with it. This country is not going to allow people to come in and dump drugs and kill our youth and other than our youth.
I think that the majority of Americans support.
Bro, there's something similar going on here in Belgium right now. I like the Uden Chronicles. It's like it's a worse Suikoden and it's not as good, but it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Oh crap. Yeah, it's the spiritual successor for Suikoden, like made by some of the original guys. But it's not as good. It's a very... There's a lot of member berries in that game, I'll put it that way. But I still enjoyed it. Right? It's like an... yeah. In Belgium, there's this thing going on with Rwanda, and they gave Belgian diplomats 48 hours to leave the country. And I'm like, why the fuck are we even in Rwanda? Right? It's Rwanda. Ain't nothing there that we want. Alright. Why the fuck are we wasting money on Rwanda in the Congo? Right? They wanted to govern themselves. They're governing themselves now. What the fuck else? Why am I still paying for those fuckers? Like, okay, I can be very open about what happened in the Congo, for example, under Leopold I over 100 years ago. Very tragic. Do I give a fuck? I really don't. Should I feel guilty about it? I really shouldn't. I wasn't born. I didn't do any of those things. I'm not gonna pay for that shit either. Reparations, such fucking... We've paid those people millions over the years. So what did they do with it? They embezzled it. And now their country is an even worse shithole than when we were there. You make your own beds. Get the fuck out. The fact that we're like... This whole bullshit of like, oh, but we're in the West, so we gotta make sure everyone else is good too. How about we make sure we're good first? Because we're not. No, I guess that's too much to ask. It's just dumb, dude. Like, why am I paying for something a king 200 years ago did? You know? It's like the whole slavery reparations nonsense. What do you mean? I wasn't a fucking slave owner. None of the people that I know and knew have been slave owners. Like, that shit is not our fault, okay? I refuse to like let people try and like guilt trip me into something that I have like that I had zero control over. I wasn't alive. I really couldn't care less. Besides the fact like, oh yeah, it's horrific. But what does that have to do with me? Nothing. I just realized I can't see the chat for YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yep, 100%. It's passed on my expectations. I thought he was going to take over and do fucking nothing. I did, but apparently he just doesn't give a fuck.
Do you have a red line for the drug cartels that if crossed, it would automatically trigger a military response from the U.S.?
Well, we'll say, but we're not going to put up with it. This country is not going to allow people to come in and dump drugs and kill our youth and other than our youth too.
I think that the majority of Americans support using military force to get rid of drug cartels. I do. I think this is a majority opinion. And I would say actually it's probably a 60% plus opinion.
Older people are very much affected. So we're not going to let that happen.
Yeah, I think so. Not the American, I still agree. I mean, they have military grade gear. I'm sure some of them do. Yeah, you're right. And I wonder, and I feel like there's also a very good question. Where did they get that military grade gear? That's crazy. Yeah, what is that? Where did all that come from? Because like I have my idea of where I think it came from, but where did it come from? I wonder.
So you called the judge's order just earlier today, quote, patently unlawful, end quote, and said that it was an assault on democracy itself. Does that mean that the administration is ignoring this order?
Oh, I hate this one.
Might you ignore future court orders that meet the criteria you laid out?
The President of the United States and his administration reserve all rights under the Constitution to conduct national security operations in defense of the United States. The Alien Aliens Act, which was passed into law by the founding generation of these countries, men like John Adams, was written explicitly to give the President the authority to repel an alien invasion of the United States. That is not something that a district court judge has any authority whatsoever to interfere.
Oh no, that's like
It's
not a hard one. Oh, you mean this one? Yeah, yeah. No, that's also not a hard one. Occasionally, I keep fucking that up. I'm not entirely sure why.
Wow.
This one is more annoying because it's like
When you say that this person
I
has
can't
no
always get
authority at all, this is
get
how
that
it's
because I generally do that
with these
already
judges,
to
they
be prepared for
continue-
the next one. But obviously, this is not the drive rush.
Does it become,
This
in
is a
your
drive.
view, legal for the justice system to be looking at this and making a judgment? And I don't see how there's any other way to start with where we're starting here before you get to eventually the Supreme Court.
Well, so first of all, there's a term in law, justiciable. This is not justiciable. In other words, this is not subject to judicial remedy. When the president is
Yep.
exercising his Article 2 power
Having said that,
to
now I'm
defend
fucking
the
it up.
country against an invasion or to repel foreign terrorism,
Wow. This isn't a Patriot Act? I thought part of it was. And this is from 1790. Yeah, it's from 1798.
it's unlawful. He's exercising his full Article 2 power.
Is Venezuela invading the U.S.?
This is very important. That is unlawfully in the country. He's exercising his full Article 2 powers as commander-in-chief.
Is Venezuela
This is
invading the U.S.?
This is a very important point. This is a Title 50 authority. It's a commander-in-chief authority. So just to ask you a simple question, you talk about how the system works. Does a district court judge have the right to direct or enjoin troop movements overseas? Yes or no?
Well, Stephen, my question...
Oh, no.
Stephen,
In other words, the...
Uh-oh.
I wasn't prepared to answer any actual questions.
Is Venezuela invading our country in a way that would apply?
TDA, so I'll answer and you'll answer mine. Under the terms of the statute, Tren de Aragua is
Apparently,
an
my
alien
feet are 4
that has
tiles
come
long.
here as detailed at length in the proclamation at the direction of the Venezuelan government. The statute says that a president has the ability to repel an invasion or predatory incursion that is directed
By
by
a
foreign
state or a
government.
government, right? Are they a state or a government?
This could be, yes, it is documented. The TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's an even more important point. Under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy? The president and the president
So do you
alone
then-
makes the
do you
decision
then
of
think-
what triggers that
So do
determination.
you then
in
think we
statute.
are actually at war with Venezuela, the nation state
You're not-
of
you're not-
Venezuela?
You're not hearing?
Oh, she's hearing. She's just purposefully
It's
not
very
listening.
funny for me to see this happen because I'm actually very happy to see this because I'm finally witnessing the downfall of this emotional, leading, dishonest, and disingenuous rhetoric that's been going on now for pretty much the entire time that I've been an adult. And I think we're finally seeing pushback against it. And this blatant emotional, it's emotional rhetoric. That's it. Thank God. Yeah, I'm so happy to see this. I don't know how long I've been waiting for this to happen. It feels so good, man. Yeah, it's because I hate people that act like this. I hate people that behave like this, that think like this. I completely hate them. And so I'm really glad that, you know, like for me, I got fed up with this over 10 years ago. But a lot of other people, you know, they tried to be nice. They tried to be reasonable. And now, finally, this is just kind of not working anymore. They're a designated terrorist organization and they've illegally entered the state, so yes, it's completely justified. I mean, I would assume it is.
Here comes a new challenger.
Yeah, I would. I would absolutely assume it is.
Me, and you're not understanding me. Read the statute. Alien Enemies Act, 1798. It says if a predatory incursion is perpetrated by a foreign government, so it lists the three qualifying actions.
Yeah, but it does say at the very beginning there has to be a declared war against a nation or a state. That's what it says.
No, wrong. Look up the statute. It's on my account on social media.
That's actually where we found it.
Yes. It says or a predatory incursion or an invasion.
Any invasion or predatory incursion against the territory by any foreign nation or government.
There's a lot of moderns these days.
There it is.
Oh, fuck.
Why is she defending gangs? Because the entire narrative is built around victimhood. So it's about defending the people who are victims. And it's not about what's good or bad for people. It's about figuring out who's a victim and then defending that person. That's the reason why. It's literally like, it's completely one-dimensional thinking.
Statute delineates three criteria for triggering the Alien Enemies Act. One is an act of war, which, by the way, invasion is an act of war, but put that aside. One is an invasion, which this is. One is a predatory incursion, which this is. So it actually meets all three statutory criteria, but with respect to this particular statute, the proclamation is utilizing the incursion and invasion language in the statute. So, but this is a very important question, because no, hold on. This is a very important question. You said the way our system works is the President of the United States commands the armed forces of the country, commands the foreign policy of the country, and that's subject to district court review. That is
I never said that. I did not say.
Never been true.
This was not a military operation. I mean,
a district court judge.
We got grabbed there. I should have 100% broke.
The expulsion of foreign terrorists to foreign soil, that he can direct the movement of Air Force One, that he can direct the movement of an aircraft carrier, that he can.
This seems like it would be right. Yeah, it seems like that would be true. Yeah, it's completely logical.
We're going straight into the replay because I'm pretty sure that was bullshit.
Direct Marco Rubio.
Okay, do you think the Supreme Court has any say over this or not? Like, does the Supreme Court of the United States have any say over the things that you were just outlining right here?
I believe what the Supreme Court will say is what I just said, which is that the president's conduct here is not subject to judicial review.
Okay, but you are acknowledging that they do in fact have a say here.
Well,
even though you think it's
not. He said that they would agree with him that they don't have a say. That's not what he said.
Final round. Fight.
They may agree with you.
What we are expecting is the Supreme Court to say what has always been the case, which is when the president is using his powers as commander-in-chief, those determinations are not subject to judicial review. In other words, the president...
That's just so dumb. Because the reason why is because the people that have these viewpoints...
I love it when people just somehow break frame data.
What's this here? Let me read it. What's the emotional rhetoric statement?
There's 3 frames apart.
Gang or a cartel
He's grabbing
representing
mine.
The government's very emotional. Don't get me wrong, Well, they have reason to believe that. I don't know what
That
their
should have broke
reasoning is,
the
and I think
grab.
that's a separate thing. If you think that's
really
fake,
should've.
that's fine. But that's generally what I'm thinking. It's becoming hard to watch. Yeah, it's insane how this is. She's pressured into the role. Well, it's that these people have to be oppositional to this kind of stuff because they have to pretend like these people are not violent gang members. That's the reason why. And so the only way that they're able to make an argument for this is by misrepresenting him or reframing what he says in a way that is not what he said. That's it.
Designation of Friend Nicaragua as a foreign terrorist organization and as an alien enemy are part of his inherent plenary authority. There is no way.
At what point in the
There is
system,
no way.
Steven,
How are you going to expel? Hold on.
power?
How are you going to expel illegal alien invaders from our country who are raping little girls, who are murdering little girls, if each and every deportation has to be adjudicated in a district court judge?
Yeah, you can't do
If that means you have no country, it means you have no sovereignty, it means you have no future. It is fundamentally incompatible to have a country and have individual expulsions adjudicated by a single district court judge.
I'm just trying
And this is the reason why these people are losing is because these guys and this guy has controlled the emotional narrative. Is because now the emotional narrative is these people are justifying and keeping people in the country that are raping little girls, right? And that's the reason why they're losing. Is that I think that a lot of like left-wing reasoning is based completely off of emotion, and it's based off of like fear. And so if you can control that and you can use that against them, then the arguments that they have immediately fall apart. And so that's what's happened. Yeah, this is also emotional rhetoric. It is emotional rhetoric, but you have to fight fire with fire. And that's the reason why they're winning in the court of public opinion. That's the exact reason.
I love it when the game just randomly fucks you for no reason.
It's basically using stronger and more persuasive emotional rhetoric that people care more about. Yeah, it's the Uno reverse card. Exactly. That's also true to the Fang Child Rapist. Well, that's the point, right? And I think that's... Let's be real, it's emotional rhetoric, though. Yeah, no, and that's really what the difference is, too. And he's flipping the narrative back on them. And so that's really that's the reason why this has shifted, and that's the reason why a lot of public opinion has shifted as well. It's because they've lost the emotional moral battle in the minds of people. Is that they're no longer being seen as sticking up for the little guy. They're being portrayed as being running defense for terrorism, running defense for illegal gang members and rapists. And so as soon as you shift that narrative and you're able to paint them in that picture, well then now the entire foundation that they built their entire argument off of doesn't exist. And so that's why there's been such a cultural shift against it. You see what my point is with this? I'm sorry, but it feels like you're showing bias here. I am biased. I agree with him. I want him out. Like, for sure, I'm definitely biased about this. Absolutely.
What?
But I think it's important to follow the rules for sure. But I don't really know what the rules are entirely. But it seems to me like it would be odd if, like, you're taking a military action and that has to be, decided by a judge.
Yeah.
It's
it does
a
do that.
non-gender issue. Yeah, exactly. And let me see if I can read a few more of these. You used in their narrative. What about factual reality? What's the actual extent of the problem? I don't think that the fact is that I don't think anybody really knows that. This is my viewpoint, is that I don't really care whether these people get judicial process or not if they're illegal migrants from like foreign gangs. But if it says that they have to, then they have to.
Fucking pussy bitch, man.
Does that make sense?
This noob shit drives me at the wall,
Yeah,
man.
Exactly. And so, yeah, gang or not, bro.
Like that, he's mashing.
Yeah,
Where was my
sure.
fucking grab?
But my point is that
these
and
people
I'm
are
just
brain dead.
Explaining the reason why this is happening, and
Just
the reason
pisses me
why
off.
You're seeing such a big shift against it.
It's like
It's
he's
because
objectively
these people
doing
have
everything
lost
wrong,
the
and yet the game still
emotional
gives it to him because
manipulation
the game is made for these people.
That's
The
main
dumber
thing.
you are, the more you do, the better you'll do at this game.
Do you, cause,
This guy's an
what the
absolute
Trump
buffoon.
administration believes?
Complete
We do have
retard.
separation of powers in this country. I hear what you're saying.
Yes,
You're saying
it
that
does
the
the power.
court does
This
not
is the
have
judiciary
authority.
interfering
Steven,
in
let me
the
finish.
executive function.
Let me
This is
finish.
separation
Okay.
of power. That
Did
is the
you
separation of
ignore the judge's order here because you thought you could?
So the judge's order and the actions taken by the Departments of Defense, Justice, and Homeland Security are
Fucking
not,
idiots.
and the Department of Defense has made clear they are
And then
not
I fuck it up.
But
So you think that you
I'm
can
on
go
tilt.
along with the
I'm
order
definitely
that
on
was put out?
tilt.
You do not think that the Trump administration
As
would
the-
find this?
as the
What?
Justice Department said,
That was a DP.
no conflict
Okay,
between
I'm,
the
s-
judge's
we're,
order
ju- we're gonna
and
play
the
something.
actions taken by the departments I just
Oh, these people should never in a million years be able to touch me, bro. But meanwhile, I lose to some retard with his fucking drool is hanging out, man. Like, that was the fucking dumbest Ryu we've seen in a week. That's not true. We've seen a couple dumber. But it was terrible, and he still got my ass.
Oh god.
Ugh.
no ability to in any way restrain the president's authorities under
Dude
the
couldn't
Alien
string
Enemies
2
Act
fucking
or
hits
the
together.
Conduct the foreign affairs of the United States. Let me paint a picture for you. President Trump and
I literally play Ryu better.
Marco Rubio had engaged
How the
in
fuck do I
intensive
lose to it with my
diplomacy
main?
to obtain a bilateral security agreement with the nation of El Salvador. If a district court judge can
again-
Like, my Ryu is literally,
Again,
literally
I-
better than this
You made
guy's.
your argument.
I played him for 5 hours.
Did you
To be fair, it's probably more like 10.
Did the administration ignore the order from the district judge? It's a simple question.
I've answered, and I've answered it.
Man.
I've answered it because this
Man.
department has made a filing in the court. But let me make another point.
Too much noob garbage in this game,
The
dude.
judge in this case put
Remove
the law
drive
on every
impact,
single
and like
person on
I'm
this
telling you,
aircraft at
like
risk.
half of these
Did
people
he
wouldn't
know
even
how
get out
much
of
fuel was in
bronze.
those planes? Did he know
Let
the
alone
flight
get the
conditions?
platinum or
Did he
diamond.
know the weather conditions? Did he know how many crew hours? Did he know the need for crew rest? Did he know any of that? No.
I think that this is more argumentation that this guy should use. And I think that the best type of emotional argumentation is the type that basically turns somebody's empathy into somebody else's suffering. And if you use that argumentation, it works very well on people. And I think that they should continue doing this and say this a lot more. Not this in particular, but in a general sense. I think absolutely this is the case. Because basically the problem is that the link is never really kind of explained to like an average listener or an average
Yeah, that's
viewer
again.
of, like how
It's because moderns are
treating these
that
people
moderns
in
are
a certain
cheats.
way or being more
It literally
empathetic
is a
towards them
cheat.
ends up hurting other people. And I think that once
If
you
it
establish
wasn't,
that link,
the transition from
then
modern to
you
classic would be
completely
easy.
gain the, like,
But it's
emotional
not.
upper hand and like the moral
Because it's a
upper hand.
cheat.
This
Like, that's-
judge violated the law.
That's
He
the thing, right?
violated
That's
the
why
Constitution.
Capcom and the developers for Street Fighter 6 are
We have in this country.
torpedoing their own game.
By the way, you're
Instead of making a control scheme that would then be able to prepare people for classic, they just give them cheats. So not only are they cheating, they're not learning anything about the actual game or how to properly play it. It's a double failure, right? You give people cheats and you don't even let them be able to learn and let it be a stepping stone. Let those cheats, let the training wheels in the form of cheats be a stepping stone to an actual proper fighting gamer. No, it's just some retard, and it'll always be some retard. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's also what I mean with these people will always be retards. Give them classic and they will completely fall apart. Because they don't know how to play Street Fighter. They know how to play Scorp Fighter. It's not the same game. Like, I would literally hire people over... Like, if I would have a question, right? If I, let's say I'm hiring people, and I know for a fact all the people that I've hired to play Street Fighter, I would literally ask them, do you play Modern or Classic? And if you play Modern, I'm sorry, but you're not getting hired. I cannot trust you. I cannot trust that you're willing to learn. It's true though. Like, if you play Classic, you might be... I would rather hire a Bronze Classic than a Master Modern. 100%. Like, that is not even... That's a complete no-brainer. Yeah, exactly. The Bronze is making an effort to learn the actual game. The Modern is not. It's that simple, right? You play Modern, you are, in my opinion, not applicable to the position that I need, because I cannot trust that you will actually try and learn anything at all in your position. The only thing I can trust is that you will look for shortcuts and the easy way out. And I can't have that in my company. That's literally how I think about it, right? 100%.
These same district court judges didn't
Yeah,
do
it
a
is.
damn thing.
It's
to stop
macros.
Joe Biden
But if I
from
put macros on my
coordinating
stick,
with
I'm a
millions of
cheater.
illegal
So they're
aliens.
cheats.
Do these
They're
district court judges
fundamentally
issue
cheats.
any injunctions to save the lives of Jocelyn
Is the
Hungary,
White House
Olivia Riley,
above
or
the
anyone
federal
else?
courts? Is that what
Like,
you're
I
saying?
literally break it down to its most simple. It cannot be more simple. What does it do? It gives people macros. Can I have macros? No, I get banned. It's a cheat. Simple as that.
What I'm saying is that what you said, there's a separation of powers. The judiciary exercises judgment and relief.
I don't speak for the White House. You are here to speak
I will
for the,
do.
You're here to speak for the White House. I
I
just want you to answer that one simple question. Okay?
Ready?
Like, it's
Here we go.
literally that
Just
simple.
said.
Under a proper reading
This
of
is
the
number 4 of So You Think. Yeah, this,
don't really
and
wanna-
That's what happens, right? Is that the only way that thinking like this can exist is inside of a dishonest reframing.
Constitution.
It's like I said, if the modern controls were done decently, then I wouldn't. Or
Seeking relief.
what I think should have happened, just don't have them in the actual queue,
And
right?
if you want
They
to
have
win
their
the
own
hearts
queue.
and minds of people, you
Because they
don't
should
do
never
that
be
to
in the
explain
queue.
to them why you're right. You do that to
With
them
actual
by
people
making
who are
them
playing an
feel
actually different game.
And that's how you can get more people to vote for you, and that's how you can get people to go along with you. So it often doesn't matter if you're
Like,
right
modern
or
is
wrong.
just for-
It matters whether people think that you're right or wrong. And so if you use that as a weapon,
Like 5-year-olds.
for your advantage, you will come out ahead.
Hell,
And I think that
look at
now,
Blast, most
and
5-year-old.
that's something that I think Trump
Right,
does
the guy's
very,
15 and
very,
is just
very
almost
well.
one fucking
He's extremely
Capcom
good at
cup.
that
So
because he's been in media forever.
if that guy can play Classic, your 30-year-old
Yeah, it's manipulation.
retard
Yes, it
ass
is.
can play Classic
But
too.
the debate and like debating the actual points of the law, I don't think anybody really cares about that. Most people don't care about that. And to the extent that they do care about it, it's because they think that it's going to go in their direction. That's the reason why. But they should. Should isn't real. Should is stupid. There's no reason to think about in terms of shoulds.
District court judges do not have the authority, as a general matter, to enjoin the functioning of the executive branch. But their authority is at its lowest point when the president is exercising his powers as commander-in-chief. And I asked you a question, you never answered it. Can a judge enjoin troop movements overseas? Can a district court judge enjoin troop movements overseas?
Stephen,
Yes, sir.
I am not going to get into the
Just say no, and then you'll know that I'm
This is a
Just say
separate
no,
question.
you'll know that I'm right.
Okay, we're not talking about other
The president
I need to ask you about
is
something
not.
else.
Man.
The president issued a proclamation delineating in detail
Just now I got her again.
how
Yeah.
the Venezuelan regime sent this gang,
Okay.
this terrorist organization, to our shores. And by the way, and I love being here, but all the outrage that we are seeing from the Democrat Party and from the corporate media.
This is the whole thing, yeah. And there's this annoying woman. Yeah, I guess so, right? Dumb CNN announcer? Yeah, I guess so. And executive branch has no authority to be
Where's
the
the
judge.
follow?
These people have to be convicted for you to be deported, and they weren't. I'm not sure about that. I mean, if they can issue and decide that they are a military target or something like that, I mean, I don't think that it's that simple. And the reality is that I don't think that any of us know whether that's true or not. Like, nobody here understands
Oh, no, we're still
the
playing.
interplay between...
I
like,
did all of the
5
sub
these
stories on day
different
1 and 2. So we played for
Yeah,
like
it's been done.
quite a few
Yeah,
hours,
exactly.
and I haven't
I'm
really
not
done
really
anything in
sure.
the actual main story
I'm
yet.
just wondering what he actually do to get deported. I mean, that's what they know. Yeah, I don't know. And all of a sudden, it's too complex. Well, what my point is that it makes sense to me that Trump can do this. If he's designating them as an invading force, it would make sense that he wouldn't have to go through judicial review, because most military actions don't have to go through that either. Like, every military action, every military, thing that happens doesn't have to go through judicial review either. So logically, I can see what their point of view is, and I think this is correct.
Oh, the fuck
But
was that
I'm not
even?
sure about it either, because I'm not an expert in this either. Does that make sense? Yeah, you don't receive rights as an American simply by crossing the border, not an invading force, but an invading force by a foreign government. Yeah, exactly. And if they were able to link the Venezuelan government to these people coming over, then I think that they have every justification to do that.
Yo, that's cool. What's up?
Do they have a justification to send them to El Salvador? I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's really a law about that, right? I don't even know. So, and sure feels like it sure feels right, even if it's not checkmate. Illegals have to go. Yeah, and I think that goes back to what I said originally, is that the idea that the president can deport people that are part of a criminal migrant gang that haven't that have crossed the border illegally. The idea that he can get rid of them.
This guy
feels
thought he
like
could
the right
demon
thing
grab Raw.
for, I would say,
You
the
retarded?
majority of people. The majority of people would feel like, yeah, you know what? The president should probably be able to do that.
The White House is defending its decision to send hundreds of alleged gang members to a super prison down in El Salvador.
And President Trump is thanking the country for taking all of those illegal migrants in.
Good job, El Salvador. One of the great stories in Central
Man.
I'm gonna fuck around a bit with a character I don't really play.
live in Washington. Matt.
Hi guys, good morning. The president of El Salvador says more than 200 Tren de Aragua members arrived in the country over the weekend. He also says they received almost 24 MS-13 gang members from the U.S.
Gotta catch
A
'em all.
senior Trump administration official tells our Bill Malugin
Who?
261 illegal aliens
Special
were deported
cases?
to El Salvador. In total, 101 were Venezuelans.
What does that mean?
Via Title 8, and 137 were deported.
I kind of want to fuck around with Zengu, but I don't.
And that's
I can't do that on this
causing
kid- on
a
this
lot of
seat.
controversy. This wartime authority gives the president the power to deport non-citizens without a judicial hearing during a period of war or invasion. The act has only
Well, there it is.
been used 3 other times in American history. This is the first time it's been invoked since World War II.
Wow.
The president is justifying its use.
Some of them are wanted in El Salvador? Yeah, I heard about that.
The 360 is not easy.
Millions of people, many of them criminals.
It really
many of
isn't.
them, at the highest level. They empty jails out. Other nations empty their jails into the United States. It's an invasion.
On Saturday, a federal judge ordered the Trump administration to stop removals under the act as soon as its invocation is legal, and he ordered deportation flights to turn around. But the White House says the planes were already outside of U.S. airspace.
That's
They
true.
argue the judge's ruling no longer applied. White House
I did play him
Press Secretary
modern
Caroline Leavitt says the administration
to troll people
I don't
online.
think that's how it
comply
works.
with a court order. Levitt goes on to say federal courts generally have no jurisdiction over the president's conduct of foreign affairs, adding a single judge
Yeah,
in a
it's-
single city cannot direct the movements of an aircraft carrier full of daring alien terrorists who were physically expelled from U.S. soil.
Man.
The temporary
brain dead.
restraining order is in effect for 14 days. A hearing is scheduled on March 21st. Lawrence Ainsley,
All right,
Matt, it's incredible.
It shouldn't,
Thank you
no.
so much. When you look at their
And if it is, it
rankings,
should be
it's hard to
completely
believe
separated
that
from people who are actually playing the
here in
game.
America. Because they are alleged gang members and their rap sheets are long. These are career criminals that were in America, in this great country of El Salvador, the president there working hand in hand
I
with
can't
us,
believe he released a video about this. That was fucking hilarious.
decided they can come here. You see in the video, their
Keep
heads
them here in
being
America?
forced
Yeah, I know.
down. They're being transported one by one. They're getting their heads shaved. They're walking with their hands behind their necks. And this is all at a detention center, the El Salvador Terrorism Confinement
Is due
Center.
process not a question for you? Well, this is the due process. It was already explained that if you're using this act and these people are non-citizens, then this is the due process. That's the whole point.
And the president down there says
The due process is applying the rules.
Instant level 3? That's supposed to be a 720 motion for crying out loud.
I never saw it courthouse. Yeah, that's because the due process of the Illegal Alien Act, or whatever the fuck it's called, says that they don't have to. If you invoke that and it's an invasion, they don't have to do that. That's the reason. So you shouldn't be making that argument. You should be making the argument that he couldn't invoke the act.
The reason it's a 720 motion is because it's supposed to be hard to do. They put it on one button. We balanced our game, guys! No. No, you completely broke it.
And even some of the members of the media.
I think the most hilarious...
Again, and they're not talking about the evildoers that were in our...
The most hilarious, like, argument that people make, oh, but it's balanced at the pro level. Oh, who gives a fuck about the 0.01% of the people that play this game, dude? Like, are you retarded? How is that in any way or shape or form an argument that you even made? You have to... I really wish people would think about the things they say for more than 1 second.
Country because Joe Biden decided to just unleash the border, remove all the security barriers that were there because he didn't like the president that came before him. And you had 10 million people coming to the country. You didn't vet these people, and some of these people right here were the ones that came into the country. Rapists, murderers, people that committed assault as well.
Why do people not understand this? Because it's, again, the emotional reasoning of first they're going to do it to the illegal alien Venezuelan terrorist group gang members, and then the next thing they're going to do is they're going to put your grandma in Guantanamo Bay, or they're going to send grandma to El Salvador's prison because she posted a meme of Trump being bad. That's again like.
See, here's the thing. Justin Wong is the perfect example of why modern should not be in the same game as classic, because he's got this entire series about trolling with Zangief. Just saying.
Emotional reasoning. There's no thinking about this at all.
And so you have
grandma's going to jail now. Sorry, guys.
80% of the country, I'm sorry, over 70% believe that we should have mass deportation of these people, yet they defend the actions.
See, that's what I was saying before. Over 70% are okay with it. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier today. Let me see if I can just find the picture of it. Where'd it go? It was the picture of like all the different places, the different like podcasts and everything. Yeah, this one here. This is when you take on 70% issues, you get 30% of the space here. That's what happens. Yep. Why would people find it crazy that the idea that people wouldn't like strangers in their home? The reason why is because none of these people have to live with the consequences of their own empathy. They don't have to live with any of these consequences at all. So to them, it sounds like a great idea because they get to feel good about themselves and it never affects them. That's the reason why. And once you review all of this thinking around it being fundamentally narcissistic, that these people don't actually care about anything, all they care about is doing the thing that makes them feel good, everything else immediately makes perfect sense.
What?
And I would challenge anybody who disagrees with this to really think about it. Most of these people, their entire worldview is based off of making themselves feel good. That's the focus.
of these criminals.
So the way I understand it, a couple of days ago, I think it was Friday,
I have
when
to
the
wait.
president enacted the 1798 Alien Enemies Act, and he said because of that, he was setting the table to get rid of TDA, MS-13, and all these criminal gangs that are coming into our country. Next thing you know, we have lined up, I guess, 21 of most wanted El Salvador MS-13 guys, 250 enemy members of TDA. They were all decided because I think Marco Rubio worked this out with the El Salvadorian president to open up their prisons. They came into their country by putting them all in jail. They said the ones that came into America, we'll take them back. We pay them. It's going to save us money to put El Salvador, keep them in a complete lockup for at least a year because we do not have the confidence that Venezuela will be able to hold them. So a judge today said, wait a second, I don't think you should be able to do the 1798 Act. Turn the plane around. Turn the plane around. No, we're already out. And in turn, Congressman Brandon Gill of Texas has announced plans to impeach the judge for trying to assert himself in this process. And it's James Boasberg. Wow. He wanted a 14-day hold to examine this. Forget it. Okay, Democrats.
Not only are they not going to listen to him, he's going to get fired. Holy fuck. Actually, it's going to work? Yeah, I guess so. Turn the plane around is wild? Yeah, I guess so. And if they use this act in its purpose, since it's not a nation or a government invading, why should we believe it won't be used in other incorrect ways? Well, so the idea is that they believe Venezuela let these people come over voluntarily, and based off of that implication, they invoke the act. Now, what is the reasoning they have for that? As far as I know, that reasoning is not public. So we don't know what the answer to that is.
You said that Barack
to the
Obama,
nunnery family.
this judge is a Barack Obama appointee, and
Do
Donald
you
Trump
believe that?
said
Do I believe that Venezuela and these countries are sending these people over?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really not a fan. The one I'm not a fan of is that. It's just that is.
I don't necessarily believe it.
The most
but
retarded button in a
if
fighting game I've
somebody
ever seen.
provided me proof, I would probably believe it. And I usually think about, like, this might sound bad, but, like, what would I do in this situation? Well, if Venezuela has a bunch of these problem boys and they're causing trouble, wouldn't you want to just send them somewhere else? Yeah. So I think about it from their perspective. Yeah, for sure they would do it. Problem boys? Yeah, well, that's what they are. So it's plausible for sure. And I think that ruling that out is naive. Isn't that a stretch? Why would these companies take responsibility for the actions of their free people? Well, it's not about them taking responsibility. It's about them allowing something to happen that gives them responsibility. So it's slightly different.
wait, you decided this. They're already out of U.S. airspace. They're flying down to El Salvador now. The migrants are already out of U.S. airspace when that judge ordered them to return. And he said the order came too late.
81 illegal aliens also.
Yeah, Maduro, the president of Venezuela, has a $10 million bounty on his head by the FBI. Oh yeah, isn't that asshole with the money? Yeah. That guy's a dickhead, isn't he? Yeah.
Arrested in Kentucky.
Exactly.
So we kicked out about 37,000 illegal aliens with criminal backgrounds and criminal.
Should be more.
Did some type of criminality once they were here. This is exactly what Trump.
I just asked the question, bro, again. Is this? You see
By using him too much,
of these
it builds up instead of goes down. Same dude.
Do you guys want to be the party of these folks right here? Do you want to be the party of defending these folks? Something has to also be done. Brandon Gill, he's the youngest Republican
He's right about
in the House, represents my home state of Texas. He's offering these articles of impeachment. I don't think it's unwarranted. You got these federal judges that are acting like activists, trying to make sweeping measures for something that the president has the authority to do.
Right. So think about this. If you're Lincoln Riley's family, you find out the Democrats and this judge is saying, turn the plane around.
Also went for years without people. Yeah.
The fuck?
I think that people should look at, like, the way that I cover a lot of this stuff. They should look at me as if I'm, I guess, some form of an inoculation. If you have me as a person who used to be a big supporter of Bernie Sanders, I liked Obama, etc. Like, I would say I have a lot of like liberal viewpoints. If you have me that's celebrating this, then you should probably think about why is that?
What the?
Why is that happening? And I think that they need to relent on these really weird social issues where they end up on the side of terrorists.
Dude, this is horseshit.
And they need to stop pushing this stuff, because if they do keep pushing this stuff, they're never...
Why is that not coming out?
Straight up, they are never going to win pushing this type of mentality. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, they're literally incapable of self-reflection. Well, they don't need to be capable of self-reflection. But what will happen is that they will be capable of self-replacement. And they will replace themselves if they keep pushing this narrative. And I think that's what's going to keep happening. Is that this narrative
works immediately
going, and the more times that they fall off on the side, and they fall off on the side of people that are non-American criminals, the more times that Americans will not be able to relate to them, and the Americans will not want to vote for them. Why do you want to vote for a party that's caricaturized as being in favor and in defense of people that want to kill you? Why would any normal person vote for them? They don't. Even you said the leak from gangs and age was contentious. Should the justification not be massive and clear to remove rights, etc.? No, the person that leads Venezuela is a dictator, and he kills, as far as I know, he kills his political opponents. And he kills people that disagree with him. How could you possibly trust anything that they say? But yeah, Maduro's bounty is now 25. This is a person with a bounty on his head, and we're supposed to trust that he... Oh, wow. So the person that has a bounty on his head by the FBI, who is a terrible fucking person, a dictator, we're supposed to assume that he's going to tell us the truth.
Makes no sense.
Why all of his gang members are in our country, and we have to just believe that? What a ridiculous premise. Really? It's the most outrageous, ridiculous thing. When you just say it in plain English, it sounds completely fucking retarded, doesn't it? Putin logic right there. That's what Europeans feel like? Yeah, and I understand that. The world doesn't give a shit about sending people on. That's nothing from his perspective. He has a country to run. Well, wouldn't it be easier to run a country if you don't have gang members in it? Because to me, I feel like if I was him, I'd send him the fuck out. Absolutely. Like, I think it'd be a smart idea for him to really do that.
This makes no sense.
Back to America, do you know how many crimes that they would have perpetrated had President Trump not won the election and led the charge for Tom Homan, the executor of these plans to get rid of these people right away?
I don't understand.
Overall, it's a great message. This is what they keep telling me. Like Henry Cuellar was the first to say it. It is so valuable to show the world the video of people being turned around. Don't just tell me numbers. Show people.
That's exactly right. Yeah, they need to post more videos like this, because one thing that makes people enthusiastic is to feel like they're winning. And when you get to see videos of these people being shipped off to these like super jails, this makes the people that are, you know, like the voters of this and the supporters of this feel good.
Well, there's like 12 versions of 2.
Okay, so pushing them out counts as a nation-sponsored invasion? Come on, dude. Yeah. Yeah, I think if a country pushes a bunch of people out of their country, and then those people come to our country, I would consider that an invasion.
Makes no fucking sense, dude.
Yes. That's correct.
Being turned around because it bridges languages. They go, it's not worth it to sell my mud hut and come here with all the money I have to get into America. I'm staying.
So this morning, hundreds of illegal immigrants with alleged gang ties are no longer in the country. The Trump administration deported them to an El Salvador mega prison. It comes as an Obama-appointed judge blocks the president.
Just look up the definition of sports review. Well, of course it does, because a lot of the laws are written with common sense and rationality in mind. And so I would assume that the law would support my viewpoint, because I am operating under common sense and rationality. Whereas people like this are operating under fear, implications, and dishonesty. So yeah, It's that simple. So it seems like I'm right. You're so humble. Being humble doesn't mean that you think that you're wrong, but I do think this is true.
In a wartime act for deportations. White House border czar Tom Homan joins us now. So, Tom, this is a promise made, a promise kept, but it looks like a judge is trying to stop this. Why?
I don't know why. I don't know why any judge would want terrorists returned to the United States. I mean,
that's a great question.
First of all, the video, what a beautiful thing to see.
It's incredible.
Look, the President Trump, by proclamation, invoked the authorities of Alien Enemies Act, which he has the right to do, and it's a game changer. And we removed over 200 violent criminals from the United States, just not TDA, but also MS-13. The actions of President Trump made this country safer. Every criminal alien,
I don't know what that
every
noise is
criminal
either.
public safety threat and national security threat removed from this country makes this country safer. That's what American voters voted for. That's their mandate as president.
Is that a real thing?
This President Trump's a game changer. The Alien Enemies Act hasn't been used in a long time. And when I watched the video and I was involved this week in this whole movement, there's an extraordinary thing what the President Trump is doing to keep his promise.
Jesus Christ. What, they film this in a basketball court? Listen to this.
I was involved this week in this whole movement. There's an extraordinary thing what the President Trump is doing to keep his promise to American people to make this country safe again. And he's doing a fabulous job.
So, Tom, I look at this judge. The flights were already in the air, in international waters. How did the judge get involved? Did these immigrants that were in the country illegally, did their lawyers get involved and make a petition to the judge? How did this happen? How did the judge know about the flights being in the air?
Okay, information was released on I don't quite know how it happened, but there was a court, emergency court hearing.
Where are you going?
Five people that were on schedule to be deported. The judge had a written order that said these 5 people can't be removed right now. It wasn't until this flight was already in international waters, heading down to El Salvador, that the judge.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm too fond of the whole 3D thing.
We're outside the borders of the United States. I'm the border czar. Once you're outside the border, you know, it is what it is. But they're in international waters.
I like its speed though. Like it's like the jab is 12 frames, not 3.
Remove terrorists, significant public safety threats from the United States by the order, the proclamation by the President of the United States. We did the right thing.
Tom, you say that it was 5 that were on there where this emergency hearing was coming. So why is the judge asking for the entire flight?
Whatever, it's still 3 times. You know what I meant.
Your guess is good as mine, Lawrence. You know, you got some radical judge who makes a decision.
That's a good question.
That just defies logic. I mean, who in the right mind, whether you're a judge or not, wants known public TDA, a recognized terrorist organization, sent here by the Maduro regime to create havoc, to unsettle the United States through the use of fentanyl to kill thousands of Americans, violence to American citizens, raping and murdering young women in this country. They are enemies.
I gotta figure out how this weirdo guy works.
As enemies, and we did exactly what we should have done. Again, President Trump is going to make this country safe again. He's going to do it one illegal alien at a time. And this weekend, we did 261.
So Tom, what's next? Because
they gotta get rid of more of them. I mean, there's a lot more than 200 of these people here. Yeah, they gotta get rid of way more of them.
I'm getting a little worried about the manpower.
What's his name?
They have to be tired. You got 30 guys in the stack going on different busts every single day.
Honestly, I bet they probably have record recruitment numbers. Because I bet this is the way that a lot of people would want it to be, and I bet they have a ton of
What's this guy's name?
Signing up and that are super enthusiastic about doing this. Because like at least as like I'm 34, right? And so for my whole life, this has been like a frustration with a lot of people.
Just his master. That doesn't help.
Dangerous job? Yeah, it is.
You're gonna run out of money. It doesn't look like you're getting support from the Democrats on this. You're going against the judges now. What's next?
Another flight.
That's
Another flight every day.
Another flight. Oh, jeez.
Apparently, this guy is an
Mustang,
actual
another
real
one.
guy in real life.
Oh God. Yep, I guess so, right?
I have no idea.
These are going to be out there every day.
Oh, the
Every
Kepamon.
day, the men and women of ICE are going to be in the neighborhoods of this nation arresting
Nope, that
criminal,
ain't it.
illegal,
I have no
alien,
idea.
public safety threats and national security threats. Lawrence, you're not going to stop us. We made a promise to the American people. The President Trump has made a promise
why is
to the
that
American
on?
people. We're going to make
It's my
this
heart
country
rate thing.
safe again. I wake up every morning loving my job because I work
Thanks.
for the
I don't know why that was
greatest president in
on.
the history of my life, and we're
I haven't
going to
used
make
that in
this
years.
country safe again. I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping.
I know, right?
I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
Jesus
I just
Christ.
love seeing you going through these protesters just crunching on the apple as their liberal tears just flood the hallway. Tom Holman, thanks so much for joining the program.
I'm Steve Ducey.
Man, that's nuts. I agree, but unfortunately, good, hardworking non-citizens who have been here for decades will also get deported. Well, they should have tried to become citizens rather than just coming over here illegally.
Okay, I just have to eat
I mean,
places
it's pretty
and
simple,
then.
right? I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure, like, and there's a spectrum.
Same.
Right? Like, those people, like, realistically, I'm going to be honest, okay? And I think that we can all be honest about this. They're probably never going to get to all of them. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. Now, should they? Yeah, they should. But realistically, they're probably not. Like, it's just, like, at a certain point, the payoff for it decreases, and it's not worth doing. Some will slip through the cracks. Yeah, sure, exactly. And absolutely, imagine how fast ICE would be funded if they took public donations. Yeah, probably, right? And what's this here? Green card holders are considered permanent residents and are here illegally. Well,
Like
we're
that
not talking
guy,
about
that
We're talking
Chief
about something
guy?
else. But yeah.
If you
Yeah,
go
that
and
was
eat
actually
with him at
smiling,
places,
maybe
he
a
like
little bit, right? White ethics
improves
is
your
just
health bar.
manipulation. I don't know if you
Slowly
noticed, but
goes
my
down,
feed
and you
is
can't
just being
replenish it
deleted repeatedly.
unless you go
So
eat
every time
somewhere,
you
but-
post a link into my chat, it gets immediately deleted. And I'll ban you because you're just not
An
listening.
extra health bar is
Like,
pretty
one of
nice.
the only rules in chat is to not spam, and you just keep typing the same thing that look at a video. It's annoying behavior, and I understand that you might want me to watch it and you think it's important, but the reality is that if I did that with every video, it would be extremely fucking annoying. Like, so yeah, you can type it a couple of times, but after that, that's enough. And so yeah, a lot of people just don't really get that. But yeah, I think this is what's going to happen. Judges should be jailed too. Yeah, maybe, right? And so they're going to, not only are they not going to do it, but they're going to impeach the judge as well. That's pretty fucking extreme, I'll tell you that. I mean, to say the least, right? Find it wild how many kids join the military to help their parents gain citizenship.
Oh,
Hope
that's the
they
hostess thing.
don't start ousting the parents while the kids enlisting.
Okay, I need to get a
It really
battle, and I
depends.
need to take a couple of
So
that.
yeah, I don't know.
It's lots of damage because
Let's
I need
see
to get to
here.
eat
When the
here.
executive branch does not respect the rule of the
Here we go.
court, we've crossed into a serious Rubicon. Well, the argument is that
Oh, rich bastard,
it's
nice.
not
Give me the money.
to make a rule in this case.
Punch me
to begin
first,
with,
please.
Right? So that's not really what's being discussed, and there's
Fun.
a lot of interplay and complexity to it, right? Obviously, there's a separation of powers. Yeah, exactly. The court has no say in this. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
and-
he used
and
the. I
again,
forget.
they can decide
Look
to
at how
figure
fast
that
the heat
out,
goes
whether
down,
it's
dude.
true or not.
By him grabbing me.
Do you think impeaching the judge is an abuse of power? I think that if there is evidence and proof that a judge is exercising their position in a
Alright, that's
political
it.
way, rather than in accordance of the law, and then weaponizing their position in order to use it towards a political goal, then I think that they should be. Absolutely. Because judges are supposed to be impartial, and they're not supposed to make decisions based off of, the way that they feel about things or anything like that. So, impeach bad judges. Yeah, exactly. You should absolutely impeach bad judges. And there are a lot of bad judges. I think a great example of that is racist judges. Like, this is a big problem we used to have. We probably still have this problem to an extent.
Did I get
but
money from
it's
that? I'm not actually
been
sure if I get
nerfed,
money from
right,
these
in the
fights.
last 50 years. So, like, think about how many racist judges there were in the 1970s. Probably hundreds, if not thousands of them, right? So you clearly should get rid of those people if they're proven to be showing a bias towards treating people differently based off of skin color. So if you have, and I view this to be relatively the same thing, because it's basically fundamentally
hopefully
you're
now
using
I can go
a secondary reason
here with that
to
shift guy
dispense
to
justice.
unlock
You're not looking at it from the objective
health
rule
stuff?
of the law. You're deciding ahead of time and then making the law work backwards to justify your decision.
I can't get another fight in me. Can I get run over?
Outdoor diners, beware. This surveillance video
was
shows
worth
what's
the try.
starting to look like a pattern of armed robberies at outside restaurants. Police are trying to figure out whether the holdups are connected.
So a new disturbing trend in New York's ever-evolving sea of crime has emerged. And even though police have no leads since the crooks targeting these restaurants all escaped on mopeds, this is the type of crime that happens so quickly and is so easy to pull off that experts say it's only going to get worse.
The thieves are demanding
Completion
watches,
office.
wallets, and cell phones.
The video
nice.
we're talking about shows men moving around a dining table and scaring people.
Convenience store.
Investigators say one of them had a gun, another had a knife. Police say they got away with $200 in cash from the register and 5 iPhones from customers.
Bro, what's crazy about this is like they're not even trying to hide their fucking face. He's just like, yeah, it's me. Yeah.
iPhones from customers.
They're using crimes of opportunity where they're just basically grabbing purses or handbags off chairs and running out.
Surveillance video shows a man toting a gun. He's demanding customers here to hand over their watches and wallets. Detectives are now looking into whether or not the same men robbed customers at Carbone.
Get out of the way, lady!
Is there
Oh my fucking god!
particular that you think is leading to this?
Well, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of the laws that have been passed that have basically tied the hands of the police.
Officers are what? Now required to record the race, age, and gender of anyone they approach.
It slows officers.
Why? That's so stupid. Who does this?
Down from going to a scene immediately.
Overall robberies are up 5% citywide compared to the same time frame last June.
Oh my god. These are not targeting New York City's restaurants. Yeah.
If you go out to eat in this city, your waiter might be replaced with a robber. Now, the police say they're not sure if these incidents are related, but what nobody's talking about is that all of these incidents are related to the fact that this city does not punish crime. And here, if you steal under $1,000 worth of stuff from any store in town, you'll suffer no consequences because that's it.
Why? Why not just put him in jail? I don't even understand this. It doesn't make sense. Why would you... It's so easy. There's no space, then make another jail. But Asmon, they're people? No, they're not. They're thieves. No, there's no way. You don't put up. We can't put up with this. How do you let this happen? How do people vote for this?
Misdemeanor, which has created a huge problem because for the last year, stores like Macy's have been getting robbed regularly. Which is like,
if you're down bad so much that you are stealing out of Macy's, bro, this is like, you know, they have these at Walmart for like fucking a hair dye. Nobody voted for this? Well, they need to vote whoever voted for it in or out.
getting robbed regularly, which is why everything inside is now chained to the store itself. And what this means is thieves need
painful
targets to steal from.
Yeah.
And our money-hungry crooks, they're not looking at stores anymore. Oh no, now they're setting their sights upon the rest of us as we chow down on bagels in the middle of the West Village. Because our phones, wallets, and handbags make us walking dollar signs to these thieves, who might even
Can you carry a gun in New York?
Nope.
No, why not? Because I feel like that's what they should do. Just let people carry a gun. Then somebody tries to rob them, just shoot them. What's the problem? Legally is a different question. Yeah, I feel like this probably isn't going to happen somewhere in Texas. It's a lot less likely to happen. Then criminals would have guns. They already have guns.
Right?
Didn't you see the
That's such a
video?
dumb idea. It's a criminal. You think he follows the law? Retard?
lurking among us as if they're just regular people.
Yeah.
Not just at restaurants,
Swear,
but
dude,
also
I
at
hate
the
people
grocery
so
store,
much.
or even
They're
on
so
the subway,
dumb.
which itself is no stranger to violence and crime, and now looks more like a military occupation zone because of the high levels of police doing bag checks and the presence of the National Guard. Which brings us to the real...
See, that's smart. That's what they should do. Yep, that's right.
reason why we've now got a crime wave above ground targeting restaurants just like this. There simply aren't enough police to keep us all safe at once. In
So
fact,
looks
New
great
York City
in
right
the
now has as many
line.
police as it did back in the 90s, but the population of the city has grown by...
I hate that they use real,
They're not even doing
real
anything.
pictures.
There's just a lot of people that are standing around, and the police officer is like, all right, one of you is getting arrested. Who's it gonna be? Come on. I know there's a reason for like who's off parole. Somebody's got a gun, drugs. Come on. Let's get this done. I got a quota. Just come on forward. Yep.
Over 1 million people since then, which is a recipe for perpetual crime. Because when all the crime underground started, every available resource was sent down there to stop it, leaving all of us up here utterly defenseless.
Didn't your mama tell you it's route to points?
Who can steal everything we have in seconds.
Well, I mean, the reason why they're defenseless is because they can't carry it. Like, that's the reason why it's happening. What are we talking about? Like, yeah, you don't say. Yeah, it's not even a question. Yeah, exactly. But guns kill people? That's the point.
Boom.
Duh. You can't
Zangief got shit on Kiryu.
Okay. Well, as long as you carry, that's a good idea.
So here we are at Carbone, a famous restaurant in New York's West Village where thugs recently targeted its patrons who were eating outside. Now, this place has a high-end reputation. It was started in 2013.
I'm sick of this. I'm gonna look it up. Carry a gun in public in New York City. Okay. So here we go. All right, now we actually know what's happening. New York prohibits the possession of a loaded handgun outside of the home or place of business without a license. Concealed carry is only legal with a New York pistol license. 16 hours of classroom training.
That guy first.
So you can with a license. The Supreme Court ruled on New York City because the way they were not giving out licenses. Wow. Well, I guess now it makes sense.
Celebrities eat here, and a USDA prime porterhouse for two will set you back almost $300. And that's what makes this place an attractive destination for criminals, because they know everyone eating here can afford the food and is probably also dressed to impress.
The video we're talking about shows men moving around a dining table outside, and apparently they're demanding cash, they're demanding wallets. Detectives are now looking into whether or not the same men robbed customers at Carbone in Lower Manhattan.
Jesus.
Allegedly stealing a $100,000 watch. Police believe this could...
So this span of robberies has happened over the last couple of weeks. And before we get into the details of how
do I
these
do the
criminals operate,
steal
as well
the
as
weapons
the testimony from terrified patrons of all of these places, it's important to understand the one thing in common they all have. First, these are popular places to eat. In fact, so many people want to eat at them that not everybody can fit inside the restaurant. That's why you have these massive outdoor dining sheds.
Well, it's like, no, people do this in games, right? It's like you go outside a dungeon and you farm the mobs outside the dungeon if you don't have a raid. Like, no, I mean, I get how it happens. Like, it makes sense. Like, and it's smart. Right? No, that's smart. People did this in Scarlet Monastery. Yeah, exactly. So because there's like only one of them. They're not as high level. That you don't have to go inside there. Yeah, no, of course.
The one behind me that is pretty much a restaurant in and of itself. Look, it's got air conditioners and stuff in it, tables inside. The bagel shop down the street has people sitting outside. But the issue is, here you are all by yourself on a public sidewalk in the middle of New York City with no police anywhere in sight. And these restaurants and businesses, they don't have security guards. No, it's just you get your food and you can eat outside if you want to, and that's on you. And this is a safe neighborhood, so it's kind of alarming that incidents like this are taking place here. But once you understand...
Well, that's why it's taking place, because why would you... Like, you don't want to... Why would you want to do it in a PvP area? You want to go to an easy area and just get free loot. Like, if you want $200, do you want to work for it, or do you just want somebody to give you $200? I mean, I think they just want $200.
Why these criminals are picking these places out specifically, it'll all make sense. Especially when you realize that people eating out in New York City as a big group are utterly distracted and not really thinking about personal safety. But there's a much more frightening reason why criminals are looking to target people specifically on the streets.
Robbery is not on the menu here at Marlowe.
It's easy to get away, yeah.
Sons in Williamsburg, but that's exactly what some outdoor diners got. You can see the customers give up their belongings before the gunman takes off on a scooter. When we
So New York City has a massive moped problem right now, and the thieves, a team of two, were riding one of these mopeds, which is how they were able to
this wouldn't happen. See, the thing is that if you were able to shoot them when they ran away, it'd be no problem. That's what you should be able to do. I think if somebody tries to fucking rob you and they try to take your shit, you should be able to shoot them. Absolutely. Yeah, it's like, because that would make it stop.
Escape so quickly. Now the drivers will wait in the street with the engine running just steps away from where people are sitting, and then the passenger gets off. And in the video that we're looking at here, the passenger was the one who had the weapon and who went around each person at that table and asked for their valuables and then got back on the moped and escaped. Now observers say restaurant crime has a lot in common with the other types of moped crime we're witnessing, where thugs quickly approach.
Can't shoot someone fleeing. In my opinion.
Agree to disagree.
If you're stealing somebody's shit and you're running off with it, and somebody shoots you, nice shot. Got him. Rip those up.
Unsuspecting New Yorkers as they're walking down the sidewalk, take a valuable, and then ride off into the night. But you see, that type of crime, it's a crime of opportunity because you happen to be on your bike, riding past somebody who looks like someone that you would want to target. But at a restaurant, there's a whole bunch of people sitting outside with their guard down. It's perfect for criminals in a city that's not willing to protect its residents. On top of that, people in a restaurant, they're sitting down, they're on their phone, they can't get up, they can't run away, and they're dressed well most of the time. And no one at any of these places
nice
is looking for trouble. And what's sickening about all this is it is the logical progression of unchecked robberies that happen on the street.
Of course this happens, yeah.
Unsafe places, which is exactly what witnesses of these events are saying on Reddit. This discussion covers all, which is exactly
gunpoint robbery at Birds of a Feather. Oh my god.
Oh.
Jesus.
I should really go visit the item
of
books.
These events are saying on Reddit. This discussion covers all the recent restaurant robberies, and one user writes that it all happened so fast, most people weren't even sure what was happening. On top of that, all of these crimes occurred during dining hours between 6:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. in the evening, which means this crime is different from purse snatchings that happen on sidewalks. These were premeditated attacks, specifically targeting the patrons of expensive, pricey restaurants in expensive, pricey parts of town. The criminals knew what type of customers they were going to encounter in places like this, which is sadly
obviously, like, if you're gonna go after somebody, you're obviously gonna go after the ones that have the most money. Like, if you're one of the robbers, do you want to rob a Gucci store or do you want to rob a thrift store? Fucking duh. Like, of course they're gonna do that.
The very reason these places were pre-selected targets. But just as crimes in places like this look like an escalation over previous types of street-related crime, there's a new escalation that has now started happening with the whole restaurant scene, and it's not happening on the street.
The most recent incident happened here at Birds of a Feather about a week ago. This time, two men held up customers dining inside of the restaurant. The men stole cell phones and a watch. Sources tell Pix 11 News.
Look at that. The most recent incident did not happen at a sidewalk seating arrangement. No, it happened inside the restaurant. The thieves just walked in the front door and walked out with everyone's stuff. Which totally makes sense. If you're a criminal and you get away with minor crimes, you're just going to graduate to bigger and better heists. And
well, yeah. I mean, if you can steal $1,000, you're going to try to steal $2,000. And if you can steal $2,000, you're going to try to steal $5,000. Like, duh. Well, of course. You're leveling up,
we're seeing all show the criminals targeting men who have expensive watches. And if you're a thief and you can get your hands on a watch, that's something very small, very pocketable, and very expensive that you can easily resell. Because in this city, we've got as many jewelry exchanges as we have restaurants, and finding a place where you can pawn that thing off won't be a problem. But there's another element to this new pattern of crime that is extremely alarming and makes it something that it's very hard to defend against. Because let's say you're eating over here at this restaurant, or let's say you're inside a nice restaurant. How hard is it to spot someone coming into the restaurant wearing a motorcycle helmet to pick up a delivery order? That is like the most common thing. So these thieves, they can get very close to their intended victims. They can hide in plain sight, blending in with normal.
Well, couldn't they just make it a rule that you can't go inside of the building with any sort of a helmet on at all? Like, that's what I would say. Like, yeah, that's what you do.
There we go, finally.
I mean, it's not even a question, like, any face covering at all.
Restaurant traffic. They're not even patrons at the restaurant. They just show up with their motorcycle
And
gear.
I know that they wouldn't follow it, right? But that's the point. So, like, if you see somebody coming in there, you know automatically oh, fuck, this is somebody who's not willing to follow the rules. You see what I'm saying?
Like every other delivery driver, and no one blinks. And this gives thieves who are riding an e-bike or a moped the opportunity to hide and bide their time until the exact moment presents itself for them to commit a crime. And even though most restaurants in town have security, how good are these cameras going to be when the thief is wearing a helmet and you can't see their face? And it's incredibly frightening to think that the next time you're having a meal anywhere in New York City, you could be being cased and spied on as you chow down. But there is something the city could do if it really wanted to take this issue seriously and really wanted to put a stop to it. But as you're about to see, the solution to all of this is so logical and so straightforward that it's never gonna happen in this city, and that's something that should not only disappoint all of us, but should frighten us.
What is
because we're all targets.
What's the solution?
This one didn't count.
Yeah, probably.
Lol.
Aren't these the same police that tried to, like, detain some guy from AMP and take pictures?
I don't like
next to
the
his
remake.
Lamborghini? Wasn't this in New York City,
I
too?
despise the combat it is.
Yeah, see, they're busy. They're busy, bro. They gotta take pictures next to cars.
Here we have Ye Old Police Department. This is the Greenwich precinct, which is responsible for protecting people who were at that restaurant Carbone over in the West Village, but it's about a 15-minute walk. And the sad truth is that New York City just doesn't have enough police to keep everyone safe at once, especially with crime waves taking place in multiple places across the city at the exact same time. Which isn't the
They're
kind of thing that
unrelated.
matters to
I'm just
anybody
saying,
until
I
the
don't
watch
like the
off your
remake.
wrist is taken when you're out to dinner and you still have to pay the tab because the food ain't free.
We have a staffing crisis going on in the NYPD right now.
I love Pokemon games.
3,000 police officers.
I should install Palworld again, dude.
Police officers leaving the department.
See what's new by now.
We're losing an average of over 200 police officers a month. So by the time we get to that April,
that is absolutely crazy. 200 officers leave the police department every single month. And not only does the police department here have monumental tasks in front of it, this attitude of defunding the police is still with us today. And that's why the numbers in the department...
Defunding the fucking police. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's. I didn't play that one.
Here we go.
Department itself are declining, and they're declining at a rate that is so fast we aren't able to replenish the department with new recruits. And to make matters worse, we're losing experienced veteran officers. Which means not only is our police department shrinking at a time when New Yorkers need it most with all of these simultaneous crime waves going on, the experience of the department is decreasing, which some say means its effectiveness is also going to decrease.
Well, of course, yeah. If you work somewhere 20 years, you know kind of like what's going to happen. Whereas if you're new, you're not going to have that same type of insight. I mean, that's common sense, man. Yeah, the experience is dropping. Yeah, that's the way it is for anything. There are places that 100% defund our police and it became a hellhole.
Okay,
yeah, no, I mean, the people that say defund the police usually live in gated communities. The people that are actually in like a lot of these poor communities outside of the ones doing the crime are not defund the policers, okay? Like, they know they need the fucking police. It's always, you know, upper middle class people that think they have some kind of solidarity with, like, poor people, and so they want to take their right to safety away from them. They're like, oh, we're going to try to help you. We're gonna,
I remember.
We're going to make your life better. You're not going to
It's
get
the reason I
arrested
didn't buy
anymore
it.
by these mean police officers. It's crazy, man. First Amendment auditors going to have a field day? Yeah, I mean... People don't get why we have police. Well, that's because, and the reason why they don't get it is because they live such sheltered, privileged lives that they've never needed police. It's never been a problem. Like, because, you know, for them, they live in a nice place and it's homogenous. There's no issues. Everybody has, you know,
gone there yet.
is well off. It's all right. And so there's not a lot of crime.
precincts
They
across
got no
the city
idea.
where we would normally turn out 6 to 8 patrol cars, right now we're turning out 2 to 3 patrol cars in those communities on a given tour. So what does that
Is this the one that didn't count?
Well, I
The
wonder.
response times continue to
Which one was
rise. That is the reality of policing right now.
Yeah.
So some precincts are down from 8 patrol cars to just 2. That's a
Jesus.
75% reduction in available patrols. How is
Holy
that not
fuck.
a
Was
recipe
this-
for more crime in pretty much every area of town? Less
Well,
police.
yeah. I mean, if you
No,
if
we
I
haven't
was a
done that,
criminal,
not
I'd
fully.
be like, bro,
But I
like,
have like I'm basically maxed out on everything. No, we haven't.
we got a buff.
haven't
Like,
finished it
let's
yet.
go. Let's start farming.
6 means response times are going to go through the roof because as crime becomes more common, police are now stuck choosing
this is the hot
which
pot. This is where
incidents to respond
we
to
went first,
meaning
right?
your watch getting
it's not.
stolen at a pricey restaurant might come in behind something much more serious. And what's incredibly frightening about this is that our criminals, they're not defunding themselves. No, they're expanding their operations
Shabu
in light of
Motsunabe.
the lax security that happens whenever the police divert resources from one crime wave to try and deal with another. And what makes this even more frightening is the proliferation of weapons. So not only are the thieves becoming more numerous and
New
more...
York City migrant shelters under scrutiny after accused cop shooter claims gun smuggling chain. Jesus Christ. Maybe this is a mean thing for me to say, but what the fuck are you doing making migrant shelters if you can't even protect the people with your police? Like, what kind of a priority is that? You've got shelters for migrants.
Actually, no, it's
and
not
you
liberal.
can't even afford police?
Crazy leftists.
How the fuck do you do that? What kind of priorities is that? It's insane.
emboldened, they're also becoming more heavily armed week by week. And you know how they're smuggling the guns into shelters? They're using delivery bags like this one right here. Apparently the shelters have metal detectors, but they're not actually scanning to see what's coming in the food packages. Does that mean there's a direct connection between all of this crime and the asylum crisis? Well, no, not necessarily, but it does mean there's a direct connection between the apparati that are supposed to keep us safe falling apart and increased crime. And the reason this disaster is unfolding upon us is not only because the police are shorthanded, it's also because our laws force them to fight crime with one hand tied up in their backs. And the latest example of all this is the How Many Stops Act, which is now in effect in New York.
Officers are now required to report the race, age, and gender of anyone they approach.
This is really something special, man. This is amazing. Wow. Wow.
From going to the scene immediately. But the other side of it is...
Okay, now,
Shit,
say
I didn't
that
mean
this is
to do
essentially
that
a
heat.
paperwork
I gotta remember to hold up too,
requirement
dude.
that slows down law enforcement when we need more law enforcement, faster, not less law enforcement, slower. But proponents say having police report this information is important to make sure that law enforcement is happening in a fair manner for everyone. Now, whether or not you think
can't you just do that with a body cam? Like, I mean, I feel like, yeah, it's important to know that, but, like, if somebody's committing a fucking crime, it doesn't matter what they are. Like, yeah, don't you have a body cam? What the fuck?
This policy is a good
body
idea.
cam doesn't capture age? Yeah, but neither can a person. You can't capture somebody's age one-to-one. Like, there's no way.
Besides the point, because in a city with a short-handed police department, you've got to pick and choose what things you have your limited resources do. And the more time police spend using apps on their phones, the less time they have to stop crime. And as we just heard, many departments are short-handed right now, and if they've only got 2 patrol cars on the street,
I don't even have
and
different
patrol cars
styles.
is busy filling out apps on their phone, there won't be enough cops to keep people safe.
Former NYPD Lieutenant Darren Porcher is concerned about delayed response time and the data itself. We reached out to the NYPD for a response. A spokesperson says the department has put in place policies, training, and technology to comply with the law. Officers will be using forms on...
Now, of course, this is just
I mean, here's the thing, though, right? Is like the people in New York probably voted for this, or they voted for the person who voted for this. So, like, at a certain point, I don't really feel that bad for them. Because, like, you wanted this. This is what you get.
Yeah, Like a Dragon is not the same thing.
That's right. It's their fault. Yeah. That's right. I'll do it again.
But
Yeah,
Like a
you
Dragon
chose
Gaiden
this.
and Like a Dragon
And so
Pirate
don't
are...
go crying about it, because this is what it is. You made it happen. They did it to yourself. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Yeah, defund the police. Well, it worked. There you go. Or they're uninformed. Yeah, then they're just stupid. But these people move out, then they vote for the same shit somewhere else. Yeah, I know.
One example of a
What is that? I thought there was going to be a
law
good
that might
scene.
hamstring police in the event of an emergency. The thing that's
Urgent
crazy about
pickup
this
requests.
is this is all
Sure, why
information,
not?
all of this demographic information. It would all be available in the event of an arrest. This applies to people who the police stop in a normal interaction. For example, if the police come out of the bomb squad department over here and they want to talk to me and it's an official stop, they're going to have to put my information to the best of their ability into this new system, which will be publicly available, apparently. But then the question becomes, if I'm not arrested for anything and there's no suspicion of guilt and I haven't committed a crime, what is the ultimate value of that? And there are fears that activists will use that
Well,
information.
the implication is that the reason why they have it is that they're like there's like
本部の使いで福岡までやってきて、せっかくやから長洲街で遊ぼう思とったのに、とんぼ帰りやないか。
ほんまにただの事故やったんですかね。
さあなあ。おう、もっと飛ばさんかい。
わかりました。
頼んだで、ほんま。
お客さん、そんなに急いで何かあったんですか？
ちょっとうちの偉いさんが事故で亡くなってしもてな。それで通夜のために大阪戻るんや。
I guess we needed a plot dump.
新聞に載ってた名古屋の件ですか？
せや。なんや、うちだけやのうて、登場会の人間も事故ったらしいが。
え？登場会もってどういうことですか？
新聞にはそこまで書いてへんかったんか？名古屋の交通事故2件あったんや。同じ日にうちの偉いさんとは別の場所でもう1件登場会の人間が死んだ事故があったっちゅう話や。
ほんま偶然にしちゃできすぎですわ。
7代目もはよ跡目を示してくれたらえ
えのに。もうそれも無理なんとっちゃいます？末期がんなんでしょ。
So much plots. They're like driving a Demontrons right now.
目がなくなるようなことになれば面倒なことになるで。
跡目巡って組割った内部構想ですか？
あほう、そんなんしたら向こうの思うツボやないけ。跡目不在の場合、直参団体組長全員の総意で8代目が決まることになる。とどのつまり派閥が大きい方が跡目や。
派閥いうと渡瀬組と大阪工業、高知組の三大派閥ですか？
せや。本家の若頭の渡瀬は今じゃ一番の武闘派で、島の広さ、参加組織の数では近江最大じゃ。一方、蒼天堀を仕切る本部長が莫大な上がりで全体への影響力も大きい。高知の親分がのうなった今、どっちに転んでもおかしないで。
その亡くなられた方ってのも大した方だったんですか？
ああ、高知の親分か。一応若頭補佐ってことやったけど、正直あんま目立つお人やなかったな。どないなわけか7代目からは目かけてもらってたさかい、誰も文句言われへんかったけどな。ある意味高知さんが後目ついでくれてたら波風立たずに済んでたかもしれへんな。
そうですか。
これから直参組長の票を集めるために相当な金が動くっちゅうわけですか？
金だけで済めばええけどな。近江のトップに立つっちゅうことは日本の極道のトップに立つっちゅうことでもある。そのためには金だけやない。後目にふさわしい功績もあげんとあかんやろ。
功績？何ですか？
例えば登場界の大物を取るとかやな。
Should I be hearing any of this?
それって6代目の堂島とか大幹部の真島の首っちゅうことですか？確かにそないなことできたら近江の力は決定的なもんになる。トップに立つ資格も十分ですわ。
まあ例えばの話や。本気にすんなや。
そういえば登場会の会長さんがこの福岡で行方不明になったらしいですよ。
何やと？それほんまか？
ええ、昨日あたりから登場会の方が必死になって探し回ってます。
そうなんかい。ほな、わしの推測もあながち外れてへんかもな。
ちゅうことは渡瀬組か大阪工業あたりが堂島を拉致したってこと？
Just casually discussing clan business in front of the fucking random taxi driver.
渡瀬組の方やろうが。まあ何にせよ
Yeah, it's the reason I didn't buy it. Because I was gonna.
ほんまですね。はよごたごたが収まればええんですが。
I'll emulate it in a couple of years from now.
まだ使んのかい。
No, I'm the taxi driver. It's me. They don't know I'm not even yakuza technically, right? Yeah, it's literally a plot dump. They're giving me so much plot. They gave me so much plot information in this one conversation.
登場会。それに大悟。俺にはもう関係のない話だ。
Like this was literally an exposition dump. Can't even use the sword, wow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a war. Yeah, let's do some battles. Yeah, it's gonna be on Game Pass. Love these battles. Battles with my master. I wanna learn more stuff. He ran away. Is there one coming out like Adam Fall's coming out in like a week, right? See? Gotta hold L2. And the yin doesn't trigger. The yin. The heat. It's gonna... Whatever. How should I do?
Yo.
本気で来いよ。
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Next couple of months. The guy's weak to grabs, thankfully, because he's not weak to pretty much anything else. Okay, so what did he teach?
Basically, a assumption that people that are minorities and part of others, you know, like protected groups, get stopped more often. So I assume that this practice is supposed to, like, quantify whether that's happening or not. That's clearly why it's happening. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I think that's the reasoning.
To further scrutinize our short-staffed NYPD, which could lead to more investigations that lead to nowhere and more oversight that is unwarranted in a time of increasing crime.
I also worry that there's just a general mentality, a lack of appreciation for police officers.
Oops.
So ultimately, there's nothing wrong with the system that increases the transparency at which a public institution like the NYPD does its job. That's a good thing. It will help keep the city safe. The problem is the resources to do it aren't included with the plan that says...
It was. I didn't mean to do that.
And right now, the police resources that we have
it
are
was
stretched
tremendous
so thin that
overkill.
the moment there's a crime wave in one part of the city, it pulls the resources over here, and then another crime wave pops up over here because the criminals saw an opening. Do you see what's happening? The police are playing whack-a-mole with our crime waves. That's why they're impossible to stamp out. That's why we went from having a crime wave in the subway below where I'm standing to a crime wave up here at our restaurants. And you know what?
I think you know what that proves, though, is that police presence reduces crime. Because I bet now in the subways there's a lot less bad shit that's happening. It's because people don't want to fuck around whenever there's 3 police officers standing around. It's a huge deterrent. And I know that people like to act like, oh, no, it's not. People are going to commit crime anyway. No, they won't. Like, trust me. People absolutely, with all crimes, 90%, probably 99% of criminals make a... They take like, basically, they make a value judgment. Is it worth it for me to commit this crime? That's why you don't see, you know, like these thugs and these people that are like robbers they're not robbing police officers. Do you want to know why? Because there's a high chance they're not going to win the outcome. They're not just doing this randomly. They're making educated decisions based off of the highest possible opportunity versus the lowest possible risk. The same as anybody would.
Once they get rid of this,
risk-reward assessment.
Crime is going to go right back into the subway. That's exactly what's going to happen. Now, are the police perfect? No, they're not. Do they always do their job fairly? No, but they are the protection that the law-abiding have when we're at a restaurant between us and the criminals who want to ride up on the street on a moped with a weapon and try to take our belongings and possibly harm us. And that's very frightening. It's very frightening to think that we don't have the backs of the people who are supposed to have our backs. What kind of system is that? Of course it's going to be dysfunctional. Of course it's going to lead to crime waves. Is that what's happening? Is that why we've got crime in the city? Let me know. How would you fund the police in New York, or are they funded too heavily? Should we restrict their funding? Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next video.
The problem is that there's a lot of instances of police
I haven't really made any money
yet.
Professionally, not needed.
And they don't.
I just did all the side stuff, and I've got like
disciplined in
tons
a
of
way
money.
that is
well,
comprehensive.
relatively speaking.
Like, people aren't like that mad about it. They don't get pissed off about it that much. It happens all the time. Yeah, right? And so people don't get in trouble, and then guess what happens? Well, then that's like, let's be honest. Then everybody sees that and they say, well, I fucking hate cops, which makes sense, doesn't it? Because, like, if you see some cop that's like, for example, I saw a cop. These 2 cops were arresting this black guy, and they had his hands behind his back, and one of the cops just like
I did all of the
racing,
all of the sub stories.
Nowhere. Let me see if I can.
I still have like a bunch of the taxi missions to do.
Fuck. No, I just tried to search it on YouTube. It seems like it's probably not going to happen. Not YouTube, on Twitter. It seems like it's probably not going to happen. I'm not going to be able to find a clip of it. But yeah, it happens pretty regularly, right? I mean, like, of course, it's not graphic or anything like that. It's just a, you know, unlawful display of authority. I mean, that's all there is to it. The big guy took
Picked up the second one too.
So you all saw that video, right?
Yes, hey.
Like, am I crazy?
I picked up every single
y'all saw
Yakuza
this
game.
video very recently.
Basically.
Excessive force, right? And so it's like that dude, in my opinion, should be taken off the police force and on trial for assault. It's not even a question. But like the problem is that you have like this weird thing where people act like there's sides to this, where like there's really not. There are police officers that are bad actors, absolutely, but that's not like the norm, right? That's not every single one of them. Which one was this? Yeah, I don't know. Remember, checks on that authority and people will be less likely to want to defund them. Yeah, exactly. So like that's the problem, is that there aren't really there's not accountability for like these different guys, and so
I'm gonna be honest, I don't
that's
remember
why people hate
too much.
them. 2 weeks suspension.
Like, I remember playing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember what everything looked like, but I don't remember like specifics.
I think this is a huge issue. Like
I played it back when it was on Game Pass though.
I mean, if you don't have police, bro.
Because I picked up Like a Dragon as well for Steam.
That's bad.
So I'm hoping that my save games are still there. I might just replay it. We'll see what happens.
New York City's grocery stores close over theft.
Now nearly all grocers.
Well, so far I haven't needed really any money. But we haven't really gotten.
That's not a surprise.
Like I said, we've barely started this game.
I mean, that doesn't really.
These games
sell
are generally
me.
quite huge.
Stores say they've been burglarized every single day of the week this
Okay, that's a lot.
year.
So the city's fallen to a point where if there's something on a shelf, anything, it is a target for thieves, who've now set their sights on our food supply, robbing local businesses until they shut down, and the city is powerless to stop this from happening.
Why?
For some reason.
As we all know, retail theft rings are an ongoing problem for bodegas, grocery stores, mom and pop businesses, and both common and luxury retail chains.
I think a lot of people would be surprised that it's almost every single day.
Coffee, cheese.
Well, like anybody who's worked at a store knows that there's like an acceptable level of losses for something like this. Every store accounts for people stealing shit. It's just that usually what's that accounting? Like 3%, something like that? 3 to 5? That's usually what I hear about a lot. Yeah, now it's 300 to 500%.
Shrimp. Nothing is safe.
Are you concerned sometimes for your safety?
Absolutely. Retailer is just open game. Walk away with anything.
Simple shoplifting is really graduating to organized, sophisticated crimes. It's like the wild
What's crazy to me about this happening is that it seems like this should be happening less, right? Because as people have better surveillance technology and better facial recognition, it should be easier to find where these people are and who these people are who are stealing things and go get them. The cops don't care. I think that's what it is. Yeah, cops don't care. Because like these guys aren't wearing masks. I get that you're saying they're wearing masks, but they're not here.
Misdemeanor. Merchants want increased penalties.
Jesus, it's like Batman.
Which Governor Kathy Hochul is going after, introducing a $45 billion initiative to
I was trying to pause to see if you could see there. Oh, that guy's got a mask on.
Going and swipe everything off the shelves. Oftentimes they're loading into a stolen vehicle.
Meanwhile, here in New York City,
it's the Kia boys.
It's reported that retailers lost close to $4.5 billion last year.
Yeah, but like, what's the percentage there? $4.5 billion. What does that
Just
mean?
triggered it. What the fuck?
Victims when retail theft
Man, it seems like a lot, but still.
Things, and it also creates. Of things, and it also creates this environment where people are hesitant.
Now grocery stores are closing. Yeah, I bet. I fucking bet.
So almost 100%.
93% grocery. This is so dumb. That's dumb.
Grocery stores have been shoplifted recently, but nobody's talking about how New York City's latest plan to stop shoplifting won't actually punish the people.
No, bro. Like, I mean, because it's hyperbole. Yeah. Like, I mean, of course, so you have a store. The store is doing business every single day. Like, let's say 360 days out of the year. So, I mean, we take off Christmas, and maybe Thanksgiving or something, or Easter. So, 360 days of the year. They're probably selling an inventory of 1,000+ items. What is the probability that one thing gets stolen? I think it's like 100%. It is. I bet it's like 100%. So, like, it's not about whether they're stealing. It's about what the degree is. It's like everybody knows people might take, oh my god, somebody stole a bag of Skittles. Aha! But I'm thinking, like, how often is this happening? Employees stealing too? Oh, that's a really good point. I actually don't hear people talk about that a lot. I remember a friend of mine actually wanted me to help him break into the place that he was working at, so we could steal a bunch of money out of the safe that they had there. And I told him it was a bad idea. We ended up not doing it. But, like, he was an employee.
Shoplift. Instead, it's only aimed at punishing people who become violent while shoplifting, which means peaceful shoplifting can continue surging out of control. With organized theft rings running full-time businesses, not just targeting retailers like Macy's, now they'll rob your local grocery store and offload stolen oranges.
Steal those oranges, boys. I mean, they're just sitting there, bro. Like, it's just sitting there. Just put them in your pocket and go. They're right there.
Is at a bodega or a curbside produce truck, because even though stealing physical merchandise like a North Face jacket will make you more money,
we need Spider-Man. Where's Spider-Man?
Those are now chained to the stores that sell them, so they're harder to make off with.
Oh, bro, this is how it is in at Walmart. So I was at Walmart. I told y'all the story about this before. I'll say it again. So I went to Walmart and I wanted to buy a pack of underwear. And I tell the lady, I was like, I go to the place where the underwear is, and I can't get any underwear because every single package is behind glass that is locked up. So I have to talk to a person, and I thought to myself, okay, like, I really don't want to have to deal with this. This is fucking annoying. There's nobody here. Can I just buy a more expensive one maybe? And like, then, yeah, I pay a little bit more, but like, I don't have to deal with this. Like, I was like, okay, buy the $9 underwear instead of the $6 underwear. Okay. Amazon, bro? Yeah, but like, I was there at the same time, so I was like, I might as well do it, right? And so then I talked to the lady, and I'm like, okay, can I get this one? And she's like, yeah, sure, you can get it. And then I said, cool, can I get it? She says, no, I can't give it to you. She wouldn't even let me hand it. She was like, are you buying it now, or are you gonna keep shopping? I said, can I just have it, and then I'll take it up to the thing? She's like, no. You have to buy it right now, or I take you up there, and we ring you up. And I said, okay, well, I guess I'll take it up there. She says, no, I will take it up there. You will walk with me as I take it up there. She takes the underwear. She hands it to the cashier, and she's like, oh, he wants that one. And I could not even touch the underwear that I was going to buy. I had to be escorted over. I swear to God, there's probably less restrictions on buying a fucking shotgun. How does this happen? Well, actually, no. We all know how it happens. It's because people steal underwear. That's the reason. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. It's because people are stealing all the underwear. That's why they have it like that. I've seen stores, like I've seen like pictures of stores where every single item is behind locked glass.
Stores that sell them, so they're harder to make off with. But the real reason shoplifting continues to surge to levels we've
America,
never seen
land
before
of the
is because
free.
it's still possible in this city.
What a shithole.
Theft is prosecuted at Walgreens. And, oh, you can see. Look, bro. Look. See? They got it right up there.
To steal under $1,000 worth of stuff and not go to jail. Which means any thief can start their own business tomorrow selling products they got
Which
for
is
free.
a good idea, right? Because you steal like $800 worth of stuff every day, and you know you're fine. 'Cause you never go over the limit. I'll be right back. Yeah. Well, the thing is, with laundry detergent, you know what they do with this? Is they take two things of laundry detergent.
Oh, this looks really good, dude.
And they pour the other one. They fill it all the way up to the top, and then they take it out there. They still do it. It's like there's nothing you can do. Go, yes. That's also stealing? Well, yep, it is. I know this might sound crazy, but I've never stolen anything out of a Walgreens before. I've never done it. I'm actually kind of afraid to steal things out of stores. How about a Walmart? I mean, generally, like, I don't like stealing things out of stores because they have cameras. And so I think that the people that do it, I understand what the reason is behind doing it. It's because
should really
they
take that
assume
thing off
that
my-
they're not going to get caught. That's what it is.
They effectively closing down the stores they steal from, who then have to compete with their own stolen merchandise. And what's truly insane is how thieves are now literally threatening the food supply of New York City.
What?
And if this continues, it could make things tougher for some of the city's neediest residents, when the grocery stores and bodegas they rely on shut down for good.
Well, it's not just them shutting down, man. It's also the fact that they're going to increase the prices. Like, let's think about it logically, right? So if you have 100 oranges and you're selling them for $1, well, that means that you're going to make $100, right? But what happens if 50 of the oranges get stolen? Well, you still have to make $100, so now oranges are $2. That's a lot of money. Jesus.
Ahmed is owner of Stop One Deli here on Gun Hill Road for 30 years now. He says they are robbed on a regular basis and fearful of doing anything about it. Are you concerned sometimes for your safety?
Y'all remember that one video where that dude was trying to steal some shit out of a store and then the other guy started beating him with a mop or like with a rake and just fucking beating his ass? That was a good... God, I've watched that video like 10 times.
Absolutely, for my safety and the employment safety. Minutes away also.
So first it was Macy's, then it was Walgreens, now it's the small mom and pop independent stores that sell food who are now being targeted. Which makes sense because once you put the big chains out of business, all you've got left are the local businesses.
And no, that's not the reason why it's happening, because it's easier to steal from the local businesses because they generally have less infrastructure and less cameras. That's the reason. And also, like, if you steal from them, the level of recourse they can have is much less. Like, if you're stealing from, you know, Dave's Bar and Deli, like, what is Dave going to do about this? But if you're stealing from Subway or Jersey Mike's, well, they've got a lot more resources.
If a big drugstore like this can't figure out how to secure its products, what chance does your local bodega or grocery store have? Most of what they sell can't even be locked up
Well,
behind
it's not that. They assume they aren't going to get caught. They're doing it because NYC cost of living is so damn high and all their money goes to rent. They aren't stealing.
She's been
things
laying
to
there for
sell,
like
they're stealing them
90
to
minutes.
Well, if you steal
Oh, my
things to survive,
fucking legs.
and you're stealing them from people that are trying to sell them to survive, wouldn't the people that are trying to sell them survive not be able to survive because they got their stuff stolen that they were trying to survive with? Like, I don't think that's really a good way of looking at it, man.
the progressive plexiglass we see everywhere in this city. Because they sell food, because they sell beverages. Most of what they have cannot be chained behind something. And when you combine that with insanely high rent for what in most cases is a very tiny little storefront, you've got a situation where these businesses are not exactly making
$3 for a can of tuna?
millions. And that doesn't leave a lot of extra money lying around for security guards. But just as your local bodegas are getting looted into oblivion, the same thing is happening.
And it's also like people don't want to have security guards there. You're right, it's 4, it's not 3. Because like for me, whenever I go to Walmart, it annoys me. I don't know, like maybe I'm being unreasonable, but like it annoys me whenever I have a loss prevention person come up to me and want to see my receipt, because it makes me feel like I'm being treated like a criminal. And it's an annoyance that I don't want to have to deal with. I'm being profiled? Yeah, no, I mean, if they should check anybody, they probably should check me. But I don't steal things from stores, right? So, yeah.
At your local grocery stores. And when one of these places shuts down, it could take the rest of the neighborhood with it.
Minutes away also is Carlos Collado, 30-year resident, 15 years as the manager at this fine fair on White Plains Road, sending us surveillance video after surveillance video while describing a new climate of emboldened shoplifters.
They feel like the law protects them, like there are no consequences. Totally emboldened. So
now, to understand...
That's what happens, is that, yeah, the people that are doing this... Like, if the police wanted to catch one of these people, they would catch them. But they don't give a shit.
How shoplifting is never a victimless crime. This grocery store, it's the only one in the area. Everybody living around here, this is the store that they shop at. If it's gone, where are they gonna go? And even if the store itself doesn't close, as they deal with theft, they have to raise their prices because if half the stuff on the shelf gets stolen, the other half has to cost 100% more for them to make the same amount of money.
Exactly.
And higher prices hurt legitimate...
When 1,000 people shoplifting in a city day by day, they don't have the resources, even for serious crimes. Exactly, right? And so, like, that's the problem, is, like, there are so many people that are stealing that it's unfeasible to go after all of the theft. I don't know what to... Like, that's crazy.
Customers who obey the law and are just trying to make it in one of the most expensive cities in the country, which essentially means that shoplifting is a tax on the rest of society. And the more it continues, the more everyone has to pay for the same stuff. But eventually, prices rise to a point where nobody can afford what the store sells. And when that happens, the store has to shut down. It can no longer stay open and operate because its prices are too high, and if it brings them down, they won't be able to pay their expenses and make a living. And customers that might be used to shopping at a little place like this, they don't have unlimited
King
money.
of gourmet.
At a certain point, it will be cheaper to take the subway and waste your time traveling.
Man, I thought this would be like $11.
To another
And
part
look,
of
it's under a lock and key. Tide Pods are under lock and key.
that has another store that hasn't been looted to a point where its prices are so high nobody can shop there. On top of that, the majority of this thievery, it's not just one person stealing a loaf of bread. These are organized retail gangs that make a living off stolen products. And it's so bad and so prevalent, you've got entire swaths of town that now resemble ghost towns in New York City of all places. And the New York Post interviewed several deli and grocery managers who all said when they saw someone stealing who was obviously in need, they did not care. Which means although greed does have a lot to do with why once profitable businesses are shutting down, it's not due to the greed of the business.
Yeah, it's not like, I mean, the thing is that nobody should be allowed to steal, right? You can't let people steal. But there's obviously a fucking spectrum with it, right? Where it's like if somebody is stealing diapers or somebody is stealing, you know, a can of beans to eat, that's way different than somebody trying to like fucking get every bag of Skittles in the entire fucking store and then run out with all the Skittles. It is different. You're wrong? No, I'm not wrong. What I'm saying, I'm not saying that like they're both bad and they're both against the law and people shouldn't be able to do either one of them. I get it. But let's not pretend that a person stealing beans to survive is exactly the same as a person stealing $300 worth of cosmetic things in order to sell. It's not the exact same thing. That's all I'm trying to get at. Like it's more nuanced. Yes, it's just more nuanced than that. It's one is bad and the other one is really bad.
Business owners, instead it's the greed of the shoplifters.
Totally
I'm not saying that anybody, I don't think anybody should be allowed to steal. But it is obviously a spectrum of which one is worse. Stop stealing, yes.
They take an extra step now. They want to fight us. They constantly. It's often a battle.
Shoplifters have grown so bold, their illegal businesses so profitable, they now feel entitled to the very inventory they never paid for in the first place. And this is why physical altercations inside these stores are now so common. And what that's doing is it's turning the local places who are just trying to survive into complete war zones. And the sad thing is, nobody working at these local businesses gets paid enough money.
Because you think about it too, like if you're a local business, think about how much money it would cost in order for you to get, let's say, all of those like lock and key things for your store. Because like I bet for Walmart and for Walgreens and CVS, those stores probably have like default size shelves with default things that they can give you. So like everything is like built to scale, whereas like a lot of the mom and pop shops don't have that. And so the amount of money that it would take for them to cost, or for them to protect that would be way higher. That's thousands of dollars. Yes, it's thousands of dollars. And also it's a decision that, for example, like if you're a Walgreens, you can instantly make this decision and it's easier to do because the decision has effectively already been made for you. However, if you're just a small store, you don't have those different foundations set for it. You see what I'm trying to say? Or what I'm trying to say?
Put their life on the line for a hat, or an apple, or an orange for that matter. Now, the governor's new plan to stop shoplifting only increases penalties for shoplifters who also become violent while they are stealing things from a store, which means that if shoplifters go into a store and they're on their best behavior, this new plan won't offer them any new consequences for their behavior. And since the police are powerless to stop these criminals, you've now got a situation where thieves make a living off the backs of the innocent in more ways than one.
This Bronco supermarket in the Bronx is clean and feeds the neighborhood, but they're also hemorrhaging between $1,000 and $2,000 a month from the theft.
That's probably a lot. No, they said a month, right? Not a day. Because, like, the margins on a lot of these things are not really super high. 24K a year? Yeah, and this isn't really a big store. I bet that's a lot of money. Yeah. That's a salary? Yeah, basically.
Everything is bad. It's terrible.
Coffee, cheese, shrimp. Nothing is safe. Several months ago, Jose says a woman came in with a baby stroller, filled it with these logs of some.
So I bought this massive brick of Bustelo coffee on Amazon because this was the cheapest I could find these Bustelo coffees in, and it even looks like it came from a legitimate distributor. It's shrink wrapped. It's got the cardboard under it. This looks pretty legit. But these little bricks are the same ones that get sold at the supermarket. What if these are stolen and they were placed inside this package? I've got no way of knowing that. Professional thieves are really good now. They will steal things individually and repackage them, sell them online, and all this packaging and stuff that you need, make your product a bundle of 12 packages of espresso is all readily obtainable. This is already a huge problem with other sorts of retail theft, clothing, electronics, stuff like that. But food, the same thing's possible if you've got stuff like this that's non-perishable. And what's insane is the reason all of us are shopping on...
That is so fucking ghetto. Holy shit. Like, I understand doing that for, like, you know, magic cards or, like, Pokemon cards. But, jeez, doing that for, like, food? It's so much work, yeah.
Because we're looking for a deal. We're looking to save money. And online you can do it. And we think, oh, that's just because it's online. It's because there's not an actual
steal and sell it online,
yeah. To pay things like rent. And you know something? That is partially true. But the store that you bought it from, they also don't have to pay for things like inventory because the goods are stolen. And it's ridiculous to think that the entire shoplifting industrial complex operating in this city happens because legitimate people are also the victims of it. We don't understand that we're buying the things that are closing our own stores, and stores like this aren't shut down because Robin Hood was trying to feed the poor by stealing from the rich. You've literally got people raiding local businesses, stealing as much as they can in a half an hour. And since
you think about it logically, right? So if there's a person who's stealing from stores professionally, they do this for their job, they are probably stealing more than like 500 other people put together. So, like, the real problem are the people that are stealing in mass and at scale. Probably more than 1 to 500. 500 normal people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the mega stealers. Okay, so what's the solution? I think that you need to, like, empower different businesses to protect themselves without feeling like they're going to get sued into oblivion for protecting their inventory. And then also, more importantly, the people that are stealing things need to go to jail. It's that simple. If you steal things and you're running out of a store with your arms full of a bunch of shit, they should arrest you and put you in jail. Like, fucking duh. It's not even a question.
This inventory costs the thieves absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You've got a pure profit business.
Start chopping limbs? No, that's a terrible idea. Okay, so now you're gonna cut somebody's hand off. Well, now they can't get a job and you have to pay them disability. You see how this is a problem? You can't do that.
If the criminals get arrested, since they don't go to jail, if
See,
it's under
maybe a
$1,000,
finger,
they
you
can
know?
get right back out. They don't even miss work. And although these theft operations might enrich the people at the top, a lot of the
Still
people
no
at the
finger.
bottom who are doing the actual stealing, these are folks who are being exploited. People suffering from addiction, from homelessness. Crooks convince them they can earn quick cash today by bringing a trash bag full of beauty supplies, detergent, or espresso back to a warehouse. And without
Which is like, I mean, if you were in the projects, if you were in like a low-income area, and you saw like some random dumb homeless guy, and you told him, if you steal a bunch of shit out of the store and bring it to me, I will give you this much money for it. I bet a lot of guys would probably do that. They use kids a lot too. Yeah, like that's smart, right? Like if I was trying to do this, that's what I would do. I would find crackheads and pay them to steal the stuff. The crackheads get arrested every once in a while. It is what it is, right? But then you pay them a bit extra money after they get out of jail. Everything's fine. And you just have them do it. Yeah, absolutely do it. Well, of course they do. Like, I mean, a lot of the guys that do this aren't really stupid.
There's one more, but I
don't
don't know
want
when
to
to
get a
do
job, and they're lazy.
Help
Some of them are
police
stupid,
and from
though.
a justice system that cares about businesses like this, there's no way it stands a chance
It's a thieves'
against an
guild. Yeah,
operation
exactly.
like that. And think about a grocery store losing $2,000 a month just from shoplifting. If your business is already
lot of
struggling
money.
because
Yeah.
the rent's too high and because your taxes and other fees just for operating are through the roof, a crime-ridden environment could be the
Yeah.
final straw, and your business could make the unfortunate decision to close up shop. And who's the winner in a situation like that? Certainly not the business owner, because now they're out of a job. Certainly not everybody who lives around here, because now they're out
Well,
of
the
stores
people
to
that are stealing, that's who wins.
got that. And you know what? It's not even the criminals who do the actual stealing, because eventually the store's going to be gone and they're not going to be able to buy any food either. It's completely
Well,
destructive.
they won't need to. They can just go somewhere else, right? I mean, that's the thing. Is like, if you're stealing things as a job all the time, you've probably got a lot of free time.
This total nightmare, absolutely, and that's why the government is moving forward with this plan to punish violent shoplifters. It's better than nothing, but the real question is, why is it taking the government so long to act on this? Why have so many stores have been closed down? People lose their jobs, customers lose their shopping centers. Sadly, because the people running New York don't see shoplifting as that big of a deal, apparently.
I think also there's like kind of a like culture or a premise that shoplifting is not bad and it's society's fault why people are shoplifting, which is like, you could say that's like kind of true in some circumstances, but in terms of like the professional
When did you say that? Oh my God,
shoplifters
it was
that
like
are
ages
stealing a
ago.
lot
My
of
bad.
stuff, those people are probably making at least
Oh, well.
some money. And they're doing that instead of having a job. And it's stupid. Yeah, I think it's stupid too. Like, and the thing is that, and this is the problem, is that, like, they're also right in a way, because like, if you give people more money, then they would be less likely to shoplift. I'm not saying it would go from like 100 people to 0 people, but it would maybe go from 100 people to like 15 people or like 20 people. Most people don't want to actively break the law because people don't want to risk, you know, like going to jail or getting in trouble or anything like that, or getting kicked out of the store or any sort of interaction. Like, most people won't want to do that. So a lot of the people that are probably stealing are, you know, like, they wouldn't do that if they had the money. So it's like, that's definitely true, but at the same time, it doesn't make it okay, right? So it's like, just because this problem exists doesn't mean that it's okay for people to capitalize on it in this bad way. Shop redesign, all items behind the wall. Yeah.
Card or cash? Card. You ever have people come in here and try to steal?
Yeah, have you guys ever seen some of these pictures? I've seen like these pictures of like Church's Chicken or like KFC or McDonald's, and the entire fucking thing has like, the entire thing is plexiglass. You can't, it's like a prison where they put your food in like the little slot and they move it in there. Bulletproof glass, maybe? Yeah. Here we go.
お前も自分の生活があるだろう。
またその話？
いや、そう。
Holy shit. Holy shit. Look at that. Oh my god. That's a Burger King, man. I think this is a bank. I was like, this shit's a bank. Look at this. Holy fuck.
別におかしくはないさ。
Oh my god. That's a McDonald's.
だったら
Bro, that's like a
私はいつ
McPrison.
でもいいけど。
This might be the one.
今まだって。
Bro, this KFC is locked the fuck down. Look at that. Little holes.
いや。そういえば。
It's a McPrison,
そういう
yeah.
話、今までしなかったからな。
Bulletproof Burger King, West Side Detroit.
Bulletproof Burger King. I love it.
気にし。
They cash and checks there? Yeah, they have an armored car deliver the chicken, guys. Look at that. It's like right underneath. That's where you slide the cash in. Like right under... Bro, that is actually a bank.
Hi.
This is straight up a bank, guys. Like, actually, like, I went to the bank maybe like 6 months ago, and to be fair, there wasn't any of this. This is worse than a bank. Yeah, my bank's out in the open? Yeah, mine is too. My banks have none of this? Look at this.
森永の兄貴の治療をさせてもらえませんか。すいません。鈴木さんに迷惑かけるなってこいつに言ったんですが。兄貴。
They got the windows barred up with chain link? That is crazy, man. Man. I just... That is fucking crazy, man. One more, then we're gonna move on. What's this, a shop? Get the fuck out of here. Let me see, open image in new tab. There we go. Shut the gas, Jesus. There we go, look. Like metal everywhere? Are these workers getting... Yeah, like that's actually... You know what? That's such a good point. Are the workers getting hazard pay? Yeah, it's like you have to work somewhere where you need bulletproof glass to sell chicken? You know what I mean? Like, they should get paid. Like, that's crazy. Sounds like the safest place in the city. Yeah, I guess so. Could it have been put there for COVID? Yes, but this is not a circumstance of that. And a lot of these things predate COVID, and I think based off of all the other things that are happening in retail, I don't think that's the real reason. Because, like, whenever we had COVID, a lot of you guys probably had, like, you know, big, like just plexiglass, like, just, like, walls, kind of. And that was it, and it would go to, like, right here, right? Like, about right here. And, like, you could just move it or push it down. It's a sheet of glass. Yeah, exactly. This flimsy garbage. Because all it's supposed to do is, like, make sure that you can't, you know, that the spit from your mouth isn't going to go to the other person. It's not bulletproof either, yeah.
Stuff?
Yeah.
Do you think...
Card or cash?
Card. You ever have people come in here and try to steal stuff?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a store in New York City that's never been shoplifted from?
That's hard. That's a hard...
I think that's a bad frame of reference to base off of. I think it's that is shoplifting causing such a decrease in profits that is tangibly negatively affecting the store. Because, like, if you're losing 1% of your money to shoplifting, that's bad, right? But if you're losing 7% or 15%, that's insane. It's about percentages. I bet every place has been stolen from.
Because it's like, there's so many people in the city.
Yeah.
It's so
the cashier can answer that? Well, yeah, actually in a lot of these places, they're small. Yeah, they might actually know.
In our communities all over the state of New York, it must stop.
Governor Hochul now pledging $25 million for a dedicated retail theft unit within the state police, $15 million for district attorneys, and $5 million to help businesses with security. The question tonight, will that actually protect merchants?
So here's some good news from the governor. $45 million, that's a lot of money, but unfortunately, it won't all go to purposes that people think are going to have an effect. But it's also worth noting that it's not the governor's fault or the mayor's fault that we have a shoplifting problem in this state. After all, they didn't write the laws that have led us to the place we're at today. And to a certain
that's the reason.
extent, their tools for dealing with an out-of-control crime crisis are somewhat limited. So first up, we've got $25 million for the police, who can arrest people who then get released because the laws here don't jail people for stealing. Now, yes,
that's the problem. Yeah, because, like, if I was stealing something and I knew if I got caught, the police would grab me and put me in jail for a day. Well, let's say the probability of getting put in jail is 1%, and you make $200 every day. That's pretty good, man. That's really good, especially if they let you out the next day. Like, yeah, that's super worth it. Almost all people, like, not almost all people, but a lot of people, whenever crime like this gets out of control, it usually gets out of control because people make a value judgment. They look at how much they're going to lose for getting in trouble.
Someone clearly wants
to gain
the Omi Alliance in the Dogo Alliance, Jotojo Alliance at the border.
Mega
That's my
macro
guess.
level. Whenever a company pays, like, you know, this is like a $1 trillion company or like a, you know, $100 million company, and they pay like a fine of $33 million for, you know, like a business practice that made them, you know, $8 billion. So yeah, it's risk reward. Exactly. And I think everybody makes that judgment. Like, there's an idea that like criminals are illogical. That's not true. Some criminals are illogical, but there is a tremendous amount of them that are logical, and they are making calculated decisions on, okay, I'm going to do this because this has a low probability of me getting in trouble.
State police, they're the ones who bust a lot of these big-time retail theft rings, and the leaders of those operations are responsible for way more than $1,000 worth of theft.
Yeah.
And the leaders might get locked up, but the low-level criminals who are still out there robbing these stores, shutting them down, they're still walking the earth. There's also $15 million set aside for district attorneys to go after.
How are you gonna, like, the thing is, like, let's say you pay Rufus the crackhead to go and to go steal things for you, right? You give him money, and then Rufus gets arrested, and he goes to jail for a day. The police want him to rat you out. Rufus isn't going to do that. Why the fuck would he do that? Because if he rats you out, then you're not going to give him money again. So it's like he's not going to kill the golden goose. Rufus is smart. Yeah, he's not that. At least he's not that stupid. He knows what's going on. He just wants another hit. Yeah. You're talking about criminal employment. It's a growing industry in some states. Of course.
These criminals. But the whole problem in New York City is that progressive laws that protect criminals instead of punishing them, those laws exist because people believe in them. Judges believe in them. District attorneys even believe in them. So the people that are supposed to prosecute the criminals end up feeling bad for them, sympathetic towards them, and may not be asking for the harshest penalties they could, which might actually land somebody behind bars. But the last $5 million, this could actually do something, because it has to do with grants related to in-store security for local businesses who need it the most. For example, things like security guards, security cameras, these could help in discouraging crime.
I think that they need to arrest the people and put them in jail. Like, I hate this idea that, like, the way to solve this is to have, like, 50 different levels of, like, security. I think you should have some security for sure, but at a certain point, the security is so overbearing and overreaching that it's, like, obstructive to even being able to go into the store and, like, conduct business regularly. Like, applying all that security stuff to each different individual product, that's insane. Like, I think at a certain point, like, you should just... A society should expect people not to steal, and if people do it, they should be held accountable. Like, that's it. It's crazy that this is even a conversation.
At the source. But that brings up an interesting question about all this. If a $5 million grant to businesses, that's almost like an admission that things are happening inside the business that the city's not able to stop, and the business needs more resources to deal with it themselves. So why not give businesses the whole $35 million? At the end of the day, if even bananas are being stolen and there's nothing the police
There's no amount of money that these the government can give the businesses that will stop it from happening. That's not how it works.
Do about it. Why not give businesses the resources to tackle this problem on their own? But money for businesses, that's definitely better than what other local leaders here have tried to come up with. One local leader wants to start taxing landlords who have vacant storefronts. Now think about that for a second. If the store closed and left because they weren't making enough money to pay the rent, if the landlord has to take less rent, they're essentially subsidizing the activities of shoplifters who lowered that business's margins through theft to cause them to shut down in the first place. But
well, everybody subsidizes it. Taxpayers subsidize it. The other stores, the other, like, people that are shopping subsidize it, and so does the store. They all do.
There's a new plan on the table. How long is it going to take to work?
Yeah.
And will it save businesses from shutting down completely? And what do local business owners think about this?
They're releasing repeat criminals. Crime hurts us.
Indeed, crime hurts all of of us. Now, Hochul's proposal is actually for next year's fiscal budget.
Oh, okay. So it's at least 1 year away. Meanwhile, criminals are still gonna walk around doing what they've always done. And even if business do hire guard dogs and put up cameras and install security apparatuses, what does anyone think the result of that is actually gonna be when there is
clearly
a legal
some
system and a
mechanic
justice
that's
system
gonna
on
get
the other end
activated?
of all that security footage that isn't actually going to punish anybody? Because at the end of the day,
yeah, if they like, because here's the thing, like back whenever I didn't have like a lot of money and I was younger, why wouldn't you steal from a store if you're not going to get in trouble? What's the logic? Why wouldn't you do it? Ethics? Well, you have to look at it from the perspective of the people that are in the situation that are stealing. And from the perspective of the people that are stealing, this isn't me justifying it. I'm explaining it. Is that they have been fucked by society. They have been put in a situation where they have to steal. And because of that, they have no sense of accountability to society. They have no sense of,
what the fuck?
you know, like, oh, well, you know, like society's not doing them any favors. So of course they're going to do this. The store owners doesn't deserve success. Yeah, exactly. Like they feel like they've been dealt a raw hand or a bad hand in life. And this is them making up for it. Like that's their thinking. So if you have a person who thinks that they've been wronged by society and they're stealing, you have to have a punishment for it. It's their own fault. It's not about whether it's their fault or not. Like, that's totally outside of the point. Sounds like a victim. Get a job, climb out. You're not understanding. I agree with all of that. I agree. Like, I'm not disagreeing, but like, in order to understand why a person does something, in order to make somebody stop doing something, then you have to understand why it's happening in the first place. San Francisco Channel 5 video shows multiple examples of what you're saying. The thieves gave those exact reasons. Of course. Yeah, of course. Because a lot of people that steal things, this is one thing that I've learned a lot. A lot of people that steal things, they are people in general. Like, it's the same with piracy, right? They want to like excuse it and act like, oh, it's okay that I'm doing this. Oh, well, this is okay. It's all right. I'm doing this. So like they're looking for justification. This isn't just an American problem. Oh, I'm sure it's not. Robin Hood syndrome? Well, yeah. Stealing, get no consequences, or pay what you can't afford. Easy decision for thieves. Yeah, exactly. So if a person is lazy and doesn't want to put in work and steal, it's justified. I'm going to be honest, man. I'm just going to permanently ban you. I explicitly said it wasn't, and you're putting words in my mouth. I'm just going to ban you. It's just you're wasting everybody's time. I don't want to read your messages.
The reason we've got such a problem with repeat offenders is because the first-time offenders were never punished in the first place. And what's truly fascinating about this new push to try and stamp out crime is it comes after an effort that started a year ago to try and expand the number of food-related businesses in areas that are lacking. And if you're not sure how you could have no grocery store in an area with lots of people, then you haven't been paying attention to this video.
Well, there's even like a term for it. It's called like food desert, I'm pretty sure. That's the one that they use a lot of. So yeah, it's really common.
As part of the New York City program called Fresh. The program offers zoning and tax benefits for grocery store owners to open in areas that the city says have limited.
And I hope that people know that like whenever the government does that, they're effectively using everybody's tax money to subsidize paying for shoplifting. So like they're effectively like, because shoplifting is happening in stores, shoplifters are stealing from stores, the government is effectively shoplifting everybody's money to pay for it. That's what's happening.
So grocery stores have been struggling for a long time. We know this. And a year ago, the city admitted that, hey, these stores, they don't have enough money to operate. For some reason, which we can't seem to identify, stores lose money, they close, they leave, and people have nowhere to buy food. And obviously, last year's program to try and expand stores by giving them discounts and not admitting the whole reason why stores have trouble staying open has missed the mark completely. And here we are a year later with those same types of stores having an even tougher time trying to make it in New York's crime-ridden environment. And you know something? It's really hard to have a crime-free environment when the people who are supposed to enforce the laws regarding crime view all criminals as victims. For example, some schools of thought see criminals as victims of a society that has been unfair to them in some manner, which
is true. And that's the thing, is they're right. That no, like pre-watched? Well, no, it's an obvious conclusion. Like, yeah, of course. There are some people that get fucked over in life. It's not about whether life is fair or not. Like, for example, if you play the lottery and you lose the lottery, that doesn't, you can't say, oh, that wasn't fair. I have to steal a car to make up for the fact that I lost the lottery. Just because things are unfair doesn't mean that you have the autonomy to go and steal people's shit. However, it is important to keep in mind that a lot of people feel this way. I think it's pretty normal. The trooper is missing a point. Cycle of violence is no different than cycle of victims. You're definitely right. You're completely right. All I'm saying is that I think that the people that are getting fucked over, like a lot of you guys, you know, like we just got done talking about how like things are massively overpriced. So people can't afford food, and so then they steal the food. It doesn't justify it, but it helps understand what the problem is. That's my only point, right? I just want people to understand, like, that's where it's coming from. I agree with you that they should be arrested, put in jail. But that's not the only way you, like, you have to come at a problem from, like, 2 or 3 different ways to, like, really get it to stop.
Them permission victimized store owners who are obviously wealthier and better off than they are.
While at the exact same time, those business owners are seen as victims of the landlords who they rent from who charge so much that they have to shut down.
And think for a moment about how different New York City would be if we lived in a place where when criminals did something wrong, they lost their freedom. They were not allowed to roam the streets. They were not allowed to go back home and sleep at night and think about what crimes they were going to commit the next day. You would probably have 0 retail theft rings operating if all of the criminals who were doing the actual stealing were behind bars. If these crime kingpins who are selling on every single website can't find workers, they're going to have to shut down, not the stores they steal from.
Yeah, because there's only so many Rufuses. Exactly. Yeah, because you go pay Rufus, and then Rufus goes to jail. It's like, oh, fuck. Well, let's go pay Jim. Okay, all right. Jim's doing it for a while, then Rufus. Then Jim's in jail. Fuck. Okay, now I'm out of crackheads. Fuck. What am I going to do? Am I going to have to go in there? What if I go to jail? And the problem solves it.
In a world where everyone who does something wrong is actually a victim of somebody else who deserves it, you don't actually have any criminals, do you? Is that the right attitude? Is it New York City's attitude? What should we do here to stop this out-of-control, peaceful shoplifting epidemic? Let me know. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, I just saw this. I figured I'd watch it. I mean, I'm not really surprised that stuff like this is happening. I mean, like, really, it's just, it is a... If you make something not against the rules, here's a really good example, right? And like this is I never watched this guy's videos before. It's a really good video. I liked it a lot. Like, you know, like in Wrath of the Lich King, how everybody was buying gold. Do you know why everybody buys gold? It's because people don't get banned for it. And if you do get banned, maybe the gold gets deleted and you get a 3-day suspension. So the punishment for buying gold is better than the reward. So if the reward is so good that the punishment doesn't outweigh it, well, then people are just going to keep doing the thing that they'll get in trouble for. It's just what makes sense. How would you deal with it? Do you think it's ethical to steal a loaf of bread to feed your family? No, I don't. I don't. Because the people that are selling the loaf of bread need to make that money to feed their family. It's just, the answer is no. Simple, simple, simple. Yeah, is there anything else? Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. Steal bread, tell the story of the cop. People will buy you food guaranteed. Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of other ways to do it. I mean, like, a lot of... I know, like, here in Austin, there's a lot of resources. Not everywhere there is. But, yeah, that's what my opinion is. Answer and ban them? No. I mean, like, that's just what my opinion on it is. It's that simple. And before the bread sellers...
Yeah, I definitely can't send this to you.
What if you stole bread from Walmart? Well, if you steal bread from Walmart, there are a lot of people who have their, like, 401ks in Walmart. And so if Walmart's stock goes down, then all of those people lose money. And those people are relying on those 401ks to live their retirement. Also, if enough people steal from Walmart, Walmart will eventually close. And if Walmart closes, then all the people that work at Walmart won't have a job anymore. And then all the people that shop at Walmart won't be able to get food there. That's not how it works. And I understand that like people think that it's okay to steal from something big, but the problem is that it's only okay whenever you don't think about it. And the more that you think about what the effects of stealing from a store is, the more you're going to realize that it actually hurts everybody. Walmart will move out of the community. Exactly, right? And Walmart is a huge employer, by the way. Like, Walmart is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest employer in the country. I wouldn't be surprised. So, yeah. All of those people are now not able to get a job. And is it Amazon now? Yeah, I'm not really sure. But I know that there's a lot of Walmart employees. They don't think about stuff like that at all. Permitting small crimes just breeds big crime. Well, if you put a bunch of small crimes together, you create a big crime. So that's generally not the way it works. I mean, I understand that, like, this might be complex or whatever, but that's not the way that it works. Victimless crime is not real whenever it's about physical people. Well, the people that are talking about victimless crimes are generally talking about victims, people that they don't think are victims. Crazy the hoops that people jump through to make stealing okay. Not stealing is stealing. You can't logically have... And, like, also, like, here's another reality. Most people are not going to freak out if some random single mom is trying to steal a loaf of bread. That's really not what the big concern is. Like, and that's been accounted for in retail for over 100 years. What people are talking about is like people that are coming in and stealing large quantities of things and then running out with them. Send the mom to jail and the baby too.
Ball buster.
Based. People place such a strong amount of disconnect on the idea of corporations and companies are composed of people too, not some soulless entity. Yeah, of course. Where do you think corporations get their resources from? They stole that shit from less developed countries with bad leaders. I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that people are being employed by the companies and people have stocks in these companies here, and you're hurting those people in a way that I don't think that you have the authority to do so. So, like, just because you think that a company is immoral, like, I think everybody has a different determination of, like, whether a company is immoral or not. Like, I think almost all of us agree that something like Nestle is immoral, but less of us would agree that maybe, you know, Hobby Lobby is immoral, or Chick-fil-A. But there's still a lot of people that believe that. And then I would say even less people believe that something like Wendy's is immoral. So the problem with, like, allowing a person to make their own subjective judgment on, like, what is okay and not okay to steal from... The problem is that before you know it, everything is going to be okay to steal from it because these people want to justify stealing from it. It's so easy to figure out a reason why it's okay for you to do something bad. Society runs on law and order. Yes. As someone from a poor background, justifications for crime really offend me whenever they claim that's in favor of the poor people. The main victims of crime and theft are the poor people. Yeah, they are. Do you think if we were better at taking care of people who would steal, as in better care of communities, it would be less of an epidemic? Absolutely. And that's what I was saying before about approaching a problem from multiple directions, is that if you want this to stop, you have to obviously approach it from 3 or 4 different reasons. Like, you're absolutely right. If people had better social systems and there were less people that, you know, like for example, whenever my mom had food stamps, there was also, like, food banks that she could go to and they would give her a bunch of food. And even locally, there's a lot of, like, very small, like, kind of micro food banks that we have here in Austin that people come to and they'll put food there, and then, you know, people will come and take the food if they need the food. So all of those things, each one of those things are like, you think about it as like a Path of Exile or like an MMO character build. All of these things like reduce health by like 1% or reduce armor by like 2%. So, like, they're all like 1% and 2% reductions, but if you have enough of them, you get to like a 10% reduction or a 20% reduction, and then that's whenever you really have a big change. But it happens incrementally. So this happened, I guess, last night. Get ready.
An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. Where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And
she's leaving, yeah, exactly. Like the same as like a piece of garbage leaves the table and goes into the trash can. Yeah, no, I mean, that's technically true, but like she getting fired. They getting rid of her.
that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12.
Good for you.
And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Incredible.
But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid.
That's nice
I
to
love
say.
everything about her.
Great.
I have
I
learned
wanted to do
so
some
much
taxi
from
missions
her.
for money, but I guess
so
not.
much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose
Yeah.
her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And
'Cause I'm running in the
personally, I think
roads.
it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is.
Well, it's not. So here's the problem: is like MSNBC is. People don't take a lot of networks seriously. Like they have like kind of the opposite problem that Fox does. Where like everybody looks at Fox News and they're like, oh, this is just like right-wing propaganda. A lot of people look at MSNBC and
No,
they think,
it's
oh,
in the
this is
game.
left-wing propaganda. And so they don't take like having people like Joy Reid on your channel and on like your network. It makes people think that you're full of shit because you're paying somebody who's an obvious like fucking just outwardly stated racist that's saying this stuff. Yeah, of course nobody wants to listen to that. It's not even a question. How could anybody not see this? They fired my racist friend. Yeah, I guess so. And it destroys the credibility because MSNBC, they're owned by Comcast. Like Comcast doesn't want this shit happening because obviously, you know, like because you think about it, what's the point of running a news agency if you can't influence an election? Like, if you can't change the outcome of an election, what value is your news media network? Nothing, really. And so they clearly weren't able to. They couldn't do it. And so, of course, these people are going to get fired. The problem arises when Fox News, for the most part, acknowledges that they're right-leaning. Lefties don't want to admit that they're left-leaning. Well, I'm not going to get into that too much. I'm just saying that MSNBC has a massive credibility problem. In the same way that I think Fox News has a massive credibility problem, just from opposite directions. And so, of course, they need to get rid of the bad actors. I mean, Fox News got rid of Tucker Carlson. He was like one of their most popular guys. That's it. CNN claims to be fair. Well, CNN is not fair either. But the public perception is that CNN is more fair than MSNBC or Fox. Right? Like, I think that this is what... If you ask, like, an average American, you have Fox, CNN, and then MSNBC. Now, where on this list CNN is, whether it's closer to here or closer to here, is irrelevant. However... that CNN is not center at all. My point is that most people agree that CNN is more center than MSNBC. And if you go and you interview 100 people and you ask them, does this chart look accurate to you? I think that's what they would tell you. I do. I think that is exactly what they would tell you. Poll? Okay. You need to swap Fox and MSNBC? Oh, because it's like left and right? Yeah, I mean, maybe I could do that. So why are people disagreeing with this? I'm just confused. CNN is left? Okay, let me see if I can find a search for this. Perceived... let me see. Perceived political bias poll. Actually, let's see if there's an AI version of this. How about let's look and see if there's an AI version of this. Actually,
That Encounter Finder is apparently really good.
It's a 1-minute clip. I'm getting distracted. Let's just get through the clip and then when we can look at the poll. All right. We'll ask we'll ask the AI after this.
Personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call.
Well, they didn't let her walk out. They kicked her out. So, I mean, they agree with you.
And I understand that, but that's what I think.
Yeah.
I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime.
They just, bro, they cannot stop.
ここ福岡で行方不明になったって話じゃないですか。
They actually can't stop.
そうらしいな。
They can't stop doing
あな
this.
た
This is so
なんか行き先について知って
embarrassing,
るんじゃない
bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what
堂
is
島が行方
this?
不明になる直前
Oh my God,
あなた
racism
の
is
タクシ
racist.
ーに乗
Yeah,
ってい
this
た
is
という
insane.
目撃証
They
言もあるん
can't
です
stop bringing this shit up.
知らないな。
Oh my God.
Both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend.
Well, I guess that means okay, so you're gonna say that they're racist? I think MSNBC should fire her too. They should, because this woman, she says a bunch of retarded shit all the time. Anytime I hear about her saying anything, it's always something stupid. So why is it that you're even here? You should be happy that you're here. And I think if you want to make it fair, you know what? I agree with her. I think that there should be equal representation. I think they should fire Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid. That way it's not perceived as racist. What a great idea. That's so smart.
And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible. And I do not defend it.
That's right. That's right. So it's indefensible. I do not defend it, but I'm going to stay on my show at the studio that is doing something that's indefensible, that you can't defend, that you're insinuating is racist. You lying, disingenuous bitch. What are you doing? You're sitting around collecting a paycheck for millions of dollars, and the only thing you can do is virtue signal. You cannot stand on business, and if you leave MSNBC, it's going to be because you got fired and not because you wanted to go. That's the truth. That's it. And so, like, imagine going on this fucking monologue about how bad this is, and then staying on the platform. That's it. It's ridiculous. You're not going to go and say this. It's outrageous. It's crazy. And so, yeah, no, I think MSNBC, though, they should be fair about this. They should absolutely be fair. And they should fire both Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow. I think that would be fair and good for everybody. That would just be a benefit for, everyone. And so that's how I see it. And Jesus, yeah, I hate this person. I mean, no, it's not. I don't hate this person. I dislike them. I find them to be very annoying. And let me see if there's any more information about this again. And I gotta make sure I spell her name right. Copy paste this. Just get it in there. And yeah, I do. There's very few people that I actually hate. But yeah.
So that's a big change.
Oh, here it is.
An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m. 7 p.m.
Just go a minute ahead.
But that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got count them, two non-white hosts in primetime.
I wonder how many elections do you think they're going to have to lose because they can't stop being racist in order for them to finally think that this is a bad idea? I think probably 3, right?
Definitely one more.
I think 3, maybe like 2, 3 more. Yeah, it's going to have to be a lot. 2 more? Yeah, at least 2 more. I'd say at least 2 more.
Both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it. But there's just one other piece of it that you should know.
Here we go.
From your side of the TV screen, you will mostly see changes in terms of who's in the anchor chair. And actually, everybody who's going to be in anchor chairs from here on out are great colleagues and great at what they do.
There's gonna be a war.
And who's on our air and what you're going to be seeing.
But I thought you just said it was going to be disappointing because, like, aren't you making the implication that if somebody gets hired in Joy Reid's place that's non-white, that it would be disappointing because they would be minimizing the representation of people that were non-white? Or sorry, like so like how does this work, right? Because I don't see how you can have both of these two things at the same time. Like, that's just me, right? How does that make any sense to me?
One thing you cannot necessarily see is that the people who get our shows on the air, they're really being put through the ringer.
Why is it the police that always drags me into this yakuza shit, dude? This is like the 3rd time.
The studio and the whole network look like morons, and now they have to get reamed for this constantly by the executives at Comcast, and they're saying, why do we have these crazy people that nobody likes running these shows? Why is our news network run? Why is the asylum being run by the inmates? Why is this happening? Yeah, they are being put through the ringer, and you're the one putting them through the ringer.
Dozens of producers and staffers, including some who are among the most experienced, and most talented, and most specialist producers.
Take a break after this cutscene.
Are facing being laid
I got
off.
some shit around the house. Send out some solicitations.
And the reason why they're getting laid off is because your show sucks.
Resumes. I guess.
That's the reason why.
Solicitations. That's something else.
You do something like this, and you have
that's
a
what the
bad
word we
show
use in
and it
Dutch.
doesn't make any money. Well, that's what happens. Then people leave and they get fired. So, like, don't go and play this emotional card. It's like this is your decision to an extent. Of like what your show is going to be about, and you decide to make your show about these divisive issues that you're on the wrong side of, clearly based off of polling, and then you go and act like the people that are the staff or the victims. Yeah, they are the victims. You victimize them. You decided to stand up on this hill that nobody wanted you to be on, nail yourself up to a cross, and now nobody wants to watch the show anymore. And so, is this really anybody else's fault other than yours? It's not.
Oh, we remember that place.
So, I mean, I'm just being real.
They're being invited to reapply for new jobs.
Yeah.
That has never happened at this scale in this way before when it comes to programming changes, presumably because it's not the right way to treat people and it's inefficient.
Is it really not the right way to treat people? I think it's just fine, and I think you would have been overly okay about this if it was people that were posting negative shit about like BLM in 2020, people that were posting COVID denying or anything like that. This is not like, it's not the way to treat people. No, you just think that it shouldn't happen. That's it.
And it's unnecessary, and it kind of drops the bottom out of whether or not people feel like this is a good place to work, and so we don't generally do things that way. Maybe all of our folks, including most of the people who are getting this very show on the air right now, maybe they will all get new jobs here, and I hope they do, but...
I don't. They obviously can't do the job here. Why the fuck would I want them to get another job? They suck. They're producing a show that's garbage. You're gonna make an appeal to emotion after you've just been sending this fucking bullshit out.
This timed?
What's going on for this?
Why do I have music playing?
What's going on with all this?
Alright, we'll just do this part as well.
In the meantime, being put in this kind of limbo, the anxiety and the discombobulation is off the charts. At a time when this job already is extra stressful and difficult.
Oh, it's not stressful or difficult. What are you talking about? You just sit in front of the camera and talk. Shut the fuck up. Like, it's not. Like, I mean, are there elements of it that's hard? Yeah, for sure. But, like, you're really going to tell people, like, an average person, like, every job has challenges, and I think that invalidating somebody's challenges is hard. But, like, man, it's really not that hard to sit in front of a camera and talk. I do it every day.
Same.
It is.
I do it
like,
badly, though, to be honest.
It's not that big of a deal. Now, are
we
there
do our
challenges
best.
and difficulties? For sure. But, like, you want to put this out to the public. People don't want to hear this shit.
It is not news for me to tell you that the press and freedom of the press are under attack in a way that is really...
That's such horseshit.
The press is under attack? Yeah, it's being under attack by the population. Because people don't want to hear what you're saying. Yeah, not watching you is being... So, like, let me get this straight. Because people don't want to watch your show, you're being attacked. Damn, that's crazy. So if you ignore them, you're attacking them. Wow. Okay.
It's a big deal for our country. It's very visceral for us here.
Yeah.
I know that the business of the press is not an easy thing, and I know that no job is forever. But I think I'm safe in saying, for all of us anchors who you know through the TV, please know that what pains us the most is not what happens to us. It is what happens to our coworkers on whom we depend and who you don't necessarily know. But
then stop trying to put stuff out there that's massively divisive that nobody wants to hear. If you care about these coworkers so much and you want them to get good jobs so much and you want this, then stop putting them in a position where they can get fired. Adapt with the times. Stop pushing extremist rhetoric. Stop being crazy, and maybe you won't have these people get fired.
酒ちーと飲んだだけで腹壊すさ。人間終わりやな。ほな、飲み直そうか。
親父、なんやタクシーのうんちゃんがようあるみたいですわ。
はあ？まだ迎えのタクシーなんか呼んでへんで。何やほのかしとんねん。
それが普通のタクシーのうんちゃんやないみたいなんですわ。
My eyes deceive me.
こらけったいな運転手さんのお出ましやな。自分らもよう顔をがんとき、これがあの伝説の男、元東上会4代目会長桐生一馬藩や。
Shit just got serious. Did the atmosphere just change?
わし、7代目近江連合で若頭させてもろてます。直参渡瀬組組長の渡瀬勝っちゅうもんです。よろしゅう。
お前が渡せ。
いやいや、しかしまさか桐生藩の方から会いに来てくれると思ってまへんでした。
どういう意味だ？
どうってそないなん決まってますやん。わしらが福岡組んだりまで来たんは桐生藩あんたに会うためですせ。
何バカなこと言ってんだ。早いとこ大悟の居場所を教えろ。
はあ？居場所って？そないなんは東上会の人間捕まえて聞いたらよろしいがな。
とぼけるな。お前らが大悟のことを拉致したんだろ。東上会と山笠組の杯を壊すために。
東上会の6代目が行方不明やと噂には聞いとりましたけど、それほんまやったんですか？
とぼけるのも大概にしろよ。こっちも遊びできたんじゃねえんだ。
なるほどなるほど。だんだん話読めてきましたわ。桐生藩ほんでここへ来はったっちゅうわけですか。あんたわしらが堂島さらったと思ってるわけやな。
動機は十分だ。
いくらちゃう言うても納得してもらえる雰囲気とちゃいますな。
当然だ。
ええ顔や。いくら正体隠して生きとってもわしには見えてますせ。あんたの背中の竜が目輝かせとんのが。
おしゃべりはいい。早くかかってこい。
Hurry up and come at me.
まずは腕試しや。堂島の竜がなんぼのもんか試させてもらいますぜ。おっしゃ、踊れら遠慮いらん。殺す気で言ったれ。
I didn't realize that was gonna pop up. I forgot again. Fuck's sake. I shouldn't be out of breath. They barely touched me.
さすがや。そこそこの腕利き連れてきたつもりが、こないあっさりやられてまうとは。まだ腕は落ちてへんようですな。
さあ、本当のとこ話してもらおうか。
何の話でしたっけ？
ふざけるな。大悟の居場所だ。お前も極道なら潔く口を割ったらどうだ。
怖いな。そない怒らんでもええですやん。時間はたっぷりあるんですし。これや、これにしようか。おい、じゃあ兄ちゃん、この一番高い酒持ってきて。さあ、キルランもこちらに酒の一杯くらいおごらせてください。どないしました？さあ、お座りください。
お待たせいたしました。こちらでよろしいでしょうか？
おう、これはほんまに一番高い酒なんか？
はい、そうですが。
ええから早よかせ。こうして憧れのキリュウハンと飲めるんや。せめてこんくらいの酒やないと、わしの顔潰れてまいますさかい。さあ、キリュウハンもどうぞ。ずいぶんなご挨拶でんな。
俺は一人飲みが専門でな。あいにく他人と飲む酒は嫌いなんだ。
そうでっか。それはちと聞いてた話とちゃいますな。
何の話だ
？3日前でっか。あんたこの店で自分とこの社長さんと楽しいお酒飲んどったらしいじゃないですか。せやからこの店やったら一緒に飲んでくれはると思ってたんやけどな。がっかりですわ。
ちょっと待て。お前どこでその話
を？わしの大門違いの兄弟分、東上会本部長会長秘書の青山実からですわ。
青山だと？
青山は堂島会長の秘書です。つまり堂島会長が知っとることは青山も知っとる。当然あんたがこの町におることも青山は知っとったっちゅうことになります。あんたは最初から青山に目つけられとったんですわ。変な動きせんようにね。これで少しはこっちの話聞きとうなったんちゃいます？さあ、お座りください。
話してもらおうか。
They really like know how to put suspense in their cutscenes.
わしとあの青山っちゅんは1年ほど前杯交わしましてな。
だが確かお前は近江の若頭。
まあ、わしも最初はあないな下っ端と杯交わすんやなんてヘド出るかと思う。
そこまでして近江の7代目。
その通り。でも7代目がああなった以上、わしも
things are gone on his suit.
やらさせてもらうつもりです。
じゃあお前は裏で青山とない？
それはちゃいます。堂島会長の件には。
お前。
嘘ちゃいます。それ以外の。
じゃあ聞くが、お前の目的は近江の8代目の座だろ
う。分かっとるまへんな。 わしは跡目争いな。わしの興味はもっと先。自分が8代目。
なんだと。
8代目なんぞ何もせんでも転がり込んできますわ。それよりわしが8代目になった時、登場界のそっちの方。
何を言ってるんだ。
それが問題なんです。あないなボンボンがもっと他に。
何がいい。
そう、近江は5代目合田陣の時代から兵隊の数も資金も力もずっとあんたがおった。関西最強の男合田隆二が仕掛けた戦。あんたは引退した身でありながらたったそれだけやない。登場界が跡目争いやない分野で崩壊。それも全て事件の先に。
それは違う。俺は自分のやってきたこと。
それです。
どういう意味。
見えもなければ良くもない。そんでもその行動すべて。せやからその花の匂いを一度嗅いだもんは皆あんたの幻影をきっと同時まで。
ご託はもういい。
覚悟決めてもらおう思い。
なんだ。
わしにとって登場界は全国制覇のだ。じゃあけど今の登場界はわしがあの関西の竜合田隆二を超える。そのためにはあんたという明確なライバルが必要。せやから何としてもあんたには登場界に復帰してもらう。納得して。どないしたんですか。まだ話途中ですやろ。どういうつもりですか、キルハン。
話は分かった。つまり俺を登場界に戻すためにお前が大悟をさらったということか。
話は分かったって。全然分かっとりゃしまへんがな。堂島大悟がいようがいまいがそないなことどうでもええ。わしにとっちゃあんたがここにおることのが問題なんや。もし今堂島が死んだら登場界は内部崩壊するだけや。死に体の敵と戦うて何が戦や、何が極道や。わしにとっちゃ喧嘩が全てや。金勘定ばかりし腐っとるふぬけの連中とはちゃう。わしは強いやつと喧嘩しそうでヤクザになったんや。せやから登場界には強くなってもらわなあかんねや。今堂島大悟が死んだらわし以外の近江のやつでも潰すことができてまう。そないな登場界わしは困んねや。
お前
わしにはわかる。本心はあんたも常に戦いを求めとるはずや。もうカッコつけんのやめましょうや、キリュハン。ヤクザは所詮ヤクザ。わしは今のあんたが退屈そうに見えてしゃあない。登場界に戻ってください。そんでわしと思いっきり喧嘩楽しもうやないですか。
This guy's motivations are fucking
お願い
weird.
しました。もうお帰りですか。
勘違いするな。俺とお前は違う。お前の極道は死に様。俺の極道は生き様だ。
どういう意味ですか。
同じ道でも死に向かって戦うのと生きるために戦うのは違うということだ。いずれわかる。
ほう、そら楽しみですわ。
That's a pretty good cutscene. I'm not gonna lie.
4代目
お前たちと同じ理由だ。
どうして？
お前らが行けば冷静に話し合う。
しかし
いや、渡瀬は
渡瀬がそう言っ
ああ。
ちょっと待ってくれ。会長拉致ったの？
いや、話してみて分かった。第五拉致には
4代目が
そのことで時間は。
私たちならいつでも。4代目がよろしければ。
Okay. Let me go save.
そうか。
Because I really need to do some real life shit. Why is the save so far away? Rigged. I really have to take that shit off. All right.
許してくれねえ。ビビってんのか。逃げるのかよ。
For now, I'll just leave it on still because I don't really have anything to replace it. It's not a mini game though, right? We're in the actual city there. How you doing, Nix? Nice timing. I'm about to leave. I gotta do some stuff in real life, and then I'll be back. I mean, the main game lasts like 80 hours, right? These games are fucking long, dude. Oh. Well worth it. already played 12 hours. There's 4 different characters. I'm not even halfway out of the first character, I think. One of those games. Yeah, I'll be back a couple hours from now. Play more. I might start like a Dragon Up. We'll see. I'm playing like everything come together. But like a Dragon is like an RPG thing, right? I want to check it out. Anyway,